things just were looking really bleak. And I wasn't really feeling it with movies. And I was like, all right, maybe this will be good. And then the Ladybug movie came out and was like top tier, bro. Like, it did a Disney movie better than a Disney movie has ever Disney movied, okay?
Hello and welcome to the Nerdiest podcast, where nerds talk about nerdy things. I'm one of your hosts, as always, Mr. Jackson Glass, and this is a big deal because today is our last episode of the year, our 2023 year in review. It's one of our favorites to do every year, and that's why I'm here with my ride or die, as always, Mr. Nick Barrett. So, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a crazy year, and it's going to be a great episode because we've got so much to say, so much to talk about. But before we get into that, Mr. Nick, how was your week?
Significantly better than last week because I wasn't sick.
Good. Let's go.
It has been a really busy week, though, because I've had something every night this week, and it's been kind of wild because I haven't had time to like catch up on anime or manga or video games or anything, which is kind of sad because there was some stuff that I really wanted to finish this week before we did this episode because I was like, it's not going to make it in there. So there might be some stuff that I mentioned that I haven't finished, but I am watching or did watch this year. So other than that, it's been a pretty solid week. It's been a really slow week at work, I will say that. So work has been very slow, but we are passing the time and finding stuff to do. So
perfect.
It works.
I feel like that's half of any job you have in America is you're going to find something to do. And, you know, that's a good word. That's on church. So, yeah, this week has been good. I did finals. And I knocked it out of the park. Thank you. Now I'm home. If you're watching the video, you'll see me at my house because we finished school. Other than that, I had my birthday recently. Thank you. I am officially 15. That's a joke. I turned 20 this week, so still a little baby. But
this time next year, you'll be able to drink alcohol.
I could.
Speaking as someone who turned 21 this year, it's kind of overrated, TBH.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
I've tried all of the big ones. Like I tried whiskey on my birthday, not a big fan. I tried beer the next day, not a big fan. I tried champagne a little bit after that, not a big fan. And I recently tried wine at Thanksgiving, not a big fan.
It's just
so.
I feel like. Not to make this like the alcohol podcast, but like it doesn't feel worth it to me because I now have friends that are old enough to drink. And so like I don't care if they drink, like I really don't, that's fine. But like they'll get a drink and it'll be like $8. And it's like that
so
big.
Expensive. I'm
like,
I don't get it.
Like I understand like if you think it's good or like I don't know, if like I could see myself enjoying like a pina colada type, like something fruity or like something fun, but it was also like I can't justify $8 drink.
Yeah, that's a lot. Like soda doesn't even cost that much.
That's with the caveat. You see, here's the thing: is I can't like alcohol and coffee. Like that's just too expensive. Like if you spend money at the coffee shop and get like a $6 coffee. Like, that's fine, because I do that, and so I'm not really in a place to say anything. But also, like, you can't do both. That hurts the wallet so much. So, that was that. It was good. Work has been crazy, because it always is during Christmas, but I went to 3 different Christmas parties in 3 days. So, we had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday were all different Christmas parties. And Thursday was the best one, and it was just like our team holiday party, and it's my favorite party of the year, always is. And we did like a Hot Ones game, where they got the real sauces from the Hot Ones show on YouTube, and no one from my table wanted to participate. So naturally, I'm up there. And you know when something is so spicy that you don't even feel spice, it's just pain?
Yeah.
That's kind of where I was at. It's similar feeling to like when something is so cold that it's not even cold, it just hurts. You know, I have like bumps in my mouth, right? Like on the inside of my mouth from where it was so hot.
It was
I
that
chewing,
bad?
It was bad. And I was chewing on ice like the rest of the party because otherwise I would like exhale and would like feel the heat like surrounding my entire... Here's the thing. I did right here. I did get this little trophy though. Well, Hot Ones 2023.
There you
little
go.
Chicken trophy. So that's what's up. That's pretty much my week. I'm home now. Getting ready for Christmas. I'm in my sister's wedding a week from today. Crazy stuff. And they got a new apartment and we helped them move in today. It's a whole thing. So, you know, very exciting stuff. But essentially, Christmas break will not be a break. It will be go. All good stuff, just a lot.
But
I need to lie down.
you do get to end your break by going to Disney.
I get to go to Disney.
So that's
and
pretty sick.
Here's the great thing about going to Disney right after your birthday is everyone gives you Disney gift cards. So I currently have $250 in Disney gift cards. And I cannot decide if I want a lightsaber or not.
So
I think...
here's what I'll say.
Okay.
The lightsaber, mine is back there. It's very... Actually, hold on. But stall for me.
Pull it out. I just can't... I feel like I can't justify the price for what it is. And I also don't know how practical it is. I don't know if I'd use it. And it's a whole thing because you have to schedule the time to go build it. And it just becomes a whole thing.
Here's the thing. If you don't schedule it like this week, you might not be able to schedule it at all.
Right.
Because they kind of fill
thing.
up really quick.
That's what the other thing is. I was like, I really don't want to make our entire family like build our day around me building a lightsaber that I don't really like, that I'm not really like dying to have.
That's why you save it for the end of the day. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
I put mine in the smack dab middle of the day. But the real
Poor
strat
decision.
is you save it for the very end of the day so that by the time you get it, you're already like maybe one or two more rides and then you're going back to the hotel anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
That makes sense.
here's mine. I built this
Okay.
4 years ago. It's the elemental one. I'm pretty sure the crystal in here is blue. It should be, if I remember, unless I changed it. I also haven't taken it apart in months. Yeah, it's blue. You can see it there. So here's what I'll say. It is really cool. Like the experience itself. This is also like I could cut somebody's head open with this thing if I hit them
Right.
hard enough.
It's solid.
This is solid metal. It's not like those plastic ones you buy at Target. It's very much a real lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
The blade comes with it, which is nice, but the experience is worth it. And here's what I'll say is you can either get one lightsaber and we can be twinsies, or you can get a bunch of small things for the same $250. That's where it gets a little interesting.
That is where it gets interesting because I thought about that too. Is I was like, I don't want to buy a ton of random crappy stuff just because I didn't want to commit to something. But I also feel like $250 sounds like a lot. But when you get to Disney, you realize it's really not that much because their stuff is so expensive.
I bought this jacket, not the last time I was there, but one of the
Right.
times I was there. It cost me like $70, bro.
Yeah. Like I have my my Star Wars jacket. It has like the Star Wars like the patch on it, and it's like one of the dopest piece of clothing I own. And it was like $80. And so it's just really like, I think stuff like that, like some of the really cool clothes, or like if one of the helmets really stands out to me, or honestly I might use some of it to pay for the food, like just get like a
That's a
really
good
nice
word.
meal. I feel like that would be more useful to me personally than a lightsaber. I don't know.
It is. And I guess we'll find out next
We'll
episode
see.
when we
We'll
come back
see.
from break, which, by the
Yes.
way, going to go
Gonna be
ahead and
hype.
get this out there. This is our last episode of the year. It's only mid-December. We're going to be on break till mid-January, I think.
Yeah.
So we're not... Okay, I know we said this last year where we were like, we're going to come back in January, and then we took January off. We're going to come back in January
we are
this
coming back
time.
in January.
But we are going to be... It's basically like, I think, a month-long break to the day. So I know 4 weeks,
I'm sorry.
no podcast, but it's a great chance if you missed any of our other episodes this year to go back
Yeah.
and check them out, or you can jump on the subscription on Spotify or join the Patreon and check out those episodes of the after show. There's
Yes.
5 episodes going to be on there by the time the end of the year rolls around. So you got 5 episodes to like replace the 2 that we would be putting
That's
out
what
in
I'm
the time.
saying.
So you got plenty of content to watch.
Yeah.
But
And it's out there. I'm sorry for the break. That's just to give us a break and to give you a break because you're going to be a lot of people are with their families or traveling or whatever and they don't have time to listen. And we've been working really hard this year. So we got to get stuff ready for next year cuz it's
also,
going to be pretty great.
our schedules are a little hectic. Like, we were
It's a
kind of
little
stressing
crazy.
on when we were going to record this episode.
This is the most like we had to work around recording. Like it was a pretty long conversation on when we were going to
Yeah.
record.
But we figured it out.
I'm trying to think of like what other episodes were a struggle to record.
I don't know.
Not including guests because guests is it's just a completely different situation.
I feel like it was different, though, because I started working full-time this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, before that, when I was just open whenever, it was really
Right.
like, well, what are you doing?
Right.
And we can work around that. Now it's like, okay, well, I don't get off work till this time, and I work these
Right.
days, and you work those days, and, like, which is why we usually end up recording on the weekend,
Yeah.
because we're both not working, and we're both pretty free. So...
And it's just a really good schedule, I think, like every Saturday morning to just hop on and hang out. So
yeah.
anyway, we will be back in January. So keep an eye on the Instagram at the Nerdiest Podcast and the Twitter at Nerdiest Pod and on YouTube at the Nerdiest Podcast. Make sure you're subscribed and follow all there so that you know when we're coming back. And you can go back and listen to all the episodes that you missed. We've been weekly for a while, actually. So if that was a lot of content that you just didn't have the time to go and listen to, this is your opportunity because we will be on break for a little bit. So unless you have anything else, I think it's time for our 2023 year
my goodness.
in
It
review. And I'm
is.
so excited. All right.
It's been a good year.
So,
it's been a crazy
It's been a really
year.
good year. It's been crazy. Lots of good stuff, lots of bad stuff. We did a little bit of an inverted pyramid thing here where we're doing probably least important to most important. So we are going to start with our Spotify Wraps. Personally, granted, I am not a Spotify user. Apple Music supremacy
Okay,
forever and always.
hold on. I want to break that down for a second. Spotify is superior in Apple Music in every single facet except for their year-end Wrapped. I will acknowledge, I love Spotify Wrapped. I get excited for it every year. But it's kind of like, it's good. I just wish it was less visually booty cheeks.
Impairing.
Like, it hurts to look at because the colors are like all neon colors that don't go together because they're really trying to stick with the green instead of the black. And I look at Apple Music that's like these very soft, blurred
Like
gradients, and I'm like,
you're like, ooh. Yeah.
That would
and
be
then
nice.
The Spotify, I kind of deducted, listen, I was scrolling through people's Spotify Wraps this year, and I got a headache. The graphics and like designs from Spotify Wrapped, I don't know who's making them, but they're a visual representation of a migraine. It is not, that's not it, guys. I really would like to see a change on that. Also, Apple Music gets lossless audio and actually pays artists. So,
whoa, but I
I
can
don't
listen to
know how to say
podcasts
that.
in the same app. So, ha!
oh, my bad.
Got him.
All right. So we do have our little wraps just to give a little peek behind the curtain of a little bit about us. So if you'd like to take us away, Mr. Nick,
All
go
right.
ahead. You'd like to go first.
So I got my top songs. I'm really only going to do top songs, top artists, and then, that's it.
Do you get top albums?
No, we don't. Which is fine because I don't really listen to albums. I listen to my playlist. Like, I'll take songs from albums. I'll even take an entire album and put it, like, your EP, I took the entire album and put it in my playlist and listened to it there instead of listening to the actual album. So, I can do my top genres were from bottom to top is J-pop, pop, Otacore, movie tunes, and anime. 3 of those 5 are just different ways of saying I listen to anime music. So it is what it is. My sound town is Tokyo, Japan. I've done it, guys.
You're awful.
I've been to Japan. My top song was Peachy Pie by Varian from the Doki Doki Literature Club Plus soundtrack with 163 total streams. Do you want to know why it was my top song? Because it's the one song that I would put on Spotify and I would press loop while we would record podcast episodes. So when we're sitting here for 2 hours, an hour and a half, just chit-chatting, it's sitting there looping in the background, which is why I moved most of my, like, if I'm listening to music during a podcast, I've moved it to YouTube so it doesn't affect my Spotify as much. Because I'm like, well, now I never will really know what my top song is. But
that makes sense.
Aside from that, my top songs were Peachy Pie, Idol by Yoasobi, which is the opening for Oshinoko, Boku no by Eve, which is the second opening of My Hero Season 6, Arc which is just a song from Persona 5. I didn't think I listened to it that much, but I guess I did. And then Specials by King Gnu, which is the opening for Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. And then my top 5 artists is Yoasobi, which I was so freaking excited about that. I freaked my boss out at work. Because I was sitting there like eating breakfast, getting acquainted for the day, going through my rap, and then it was like, but there was one artist you spent a ton of time with this year, and it started playing one of their songs, and I was like, is it? And then it revealed, and I was like, let's go. And my boss was like standing outside my door, and she was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm just looking at my Spotify Wrapped. I'm really excited about my top artist because Yoasobi has been number 2 the last 2 years, and they lost to Bo Burnham both times. And I was like, they're so close though.
Did Bo Burnham make it on this year's?
Number 2 is the Atlas Sound Team, which is the people who make the Persona 5 soundtrack. Number 3 is Bo Burnham, so he is still on there. But what's really interesting is I had my depressed phase from January to March, and then I kind of was like, all right, I need to pull myself and get my life together. So I stopped listening to Inside as to stop listening to depressing music.
Right.
Number 4 is Kanabun, and then number 5 is Nate Wants to Battle, specifically for like 2 songs that I keep repeating. I don't know how he got number 5, but it is what it is. And then my top podcasts were Anime Out of Context, Genre Geeks, the Tomorrowland Transit Authority, Anime Brothers, and I'd Like a Refund. I didn't. I was
Rest
shocked.
in peace.
Rest in peace.
Rest
I'd
in
like
peace,
a refund.
I'd like a refund.
Last year they'll be on a top podcast, but it is
everyone
what it
go
is.
follow the Mind Rewind. That's their new show.
So yeah, that's my Spotify Wrapped. It was pretty sick. We also got these little, like, I don't know, I don't think Apple Music did this, but we got these little like cards.
Yeah.
Where they essentially told you, like, here's what you were in 2023. I got the Time Traveler. Have we met before? You travel back in time and listen to songs on repeat again and again. The best tracks never get old. That so true.
That's so real.
So valid.
This is a
I feel
conversation for another episode because it's a long and windy. But what I don't understand about anime is how you can't just like anime. You know? You can't just watch an anime. You have to, like, there's no more casual anime fans anymore. Like, they have to listen to all the music and play all the games and like watch nothing but the shows, and I just don't get it. Like I don't understand why you can't just like an anime and then just leave it there.
I don't think that's entirely true though, because you're a casual anime fan. Like,
I mean, if we didn't have the podcast, I wouldn't be.
I know, and I know a handful of people who are like, I definitely know people who watch anime who aren't as into like playing the games and listening to the music and like buying the merch. Like they just watch anime. And I think there are a lot more casual anime fans, but the problem is they don't talk about it. Like if you get them in a conversation, they'll talk about My Hero, they'll talk about Demon Slayer, but they're not getting on the internet or getting on their Instagram and being like, oh my gosh, I just watched the latest episode of Demon Slayer. It was so good. Like they just kind of keep those opinions to themselves, as they do with most of the other shows that they would also casually enjoy. You just hear a lot more of the hardcore fans a lot more.
Because they're so loud.
Exactly.
That makes sense. It's interesting. Well, guys, if you think they're... I'm trying to think of how to say this.
I already know where this is going.
The only thing maybe more cringy than having a nothing but anime wrapped is having Taylor Swift as your top artist.
Yeah. Thank you for self-diagnosing it. I don't have to make fun of you because you said it.
And I'd like to say that my number one artist of the year was Taylor Swift.
Shocker.
With 3,336 minutes.
Did I listen to my top artist more than you did? Let me see.
I don't know.
How many minutes did you say you had?
3,300.
Oh, I had 2,400. Dang.
Listen, Taylor
I don't know if
did
that's
a
fair
lot
though. Taylor Swift has more songs than Yoasobi.
She's
so
done a lot of good music this year. That's all I'm saying. And so we'll do top 5. So number 1 was Taylor Swift. Number 2 was Blanks. And if you don't listen to Blanks, you should. He's a very good Dutch indie artist. Number 3 was Katy Perry. Listen, I feel like I need to justify this one. So Katy Perry has done some bangers, okay? So Teenage Dream is one of the best pop albums of all time. And I listened to Teenage Dream, like the whole album on repeat, like all summer. And I just, I'm sorry, I listened to 870 minutes of Katy Perry this year, and I'm sorry.
All right.
Number 4 was Peabod. If you don't listen to Peabod, you should. He's a really good Christian rapper. Speaking of Christian rappers, you have Shama Mirma as number 5 with 613 minutes. Also, a little embarrassing. Jackson Glass was my number 6 artist. I listened to my own music enough to make it in my top 10.
Cookout Run, I think, broke top 20 in my songs.
I actually showed up in a lot of people's Wrapped, which was an honor. So thank you very much if you listen to any of my music. Jackson Glass, Glass on Spotify. Top 5 songs. Number 5 was Favorite Nightmare by Blanks. Very good. In My Feelings by Blanks. Very good. I Am a Yam by Shama Mirma. Banger. I Am a Yam was my number 1 for 2021 and 22. And it went down to number 3 this year. But Shake It Off was number 2. I don't know why. I don't really remember listening to that song a whole lot. But, God bless. Number 1 was What You Got, A.O. by Blanks. So
wow. So Taylor Swift is your top artist, but only one song made it in the top 5. That's really interesting.
Just because it's, why? It's because she has like 10 million songs.
Right.
So there wasn't like one song of hers that I listened to a ton. But I do get top 5 albums. Number 5 was the John Wick soundtrack because that's what I would listen to if I had a deadline and I needed to get something done. Like the pumping like EDM bass of John Wick will get you going. Light of Christmas by Toby Mac is number 4. That's really embarrassing. I'm sorry. Number 3 is Freshman Year Part 1, which is my EP. Number 2 is The Eminem Show, which is one of his best albums, and that's what I listened to on loop when we were working on Cookout Run. And then number 1 was Speak Now by Taylor Swift. Taylor's version, of course. Banger, banger, banger.
What a
so,
Swiftie.
thank you very much. Thank you. What a wonderful time it is to be here. So, our next 2 things are things that I'm not really a part of because it's games and shows, and I didn't really play a lot of new games this year or watch a lot of new shows. So, Mr. Nick, give us a brief recap of what you've been playing.
Do you want to just I know you played a game this year.
I played Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, do you want to
pretty much
just get your piece out of the
So-
way since it's so much shorter?
Tears of the Kingdom, I played it this year, and it's really good. And I'm going back to it now. I had to take a long break because I got discouraged because I'm stupid. And
Don't gonna be so
listen.
hard on yourself.
Tears of the Kingdom is my Elden Ring. I am so bad at it.
Can we put that on a shirt? Tears of the Kingdom is my Elden Ring.
That would look really good on a little third. That would look really good. But yeah, that's essentially where I'm at. Is I got discouraged and stopped playing because I was so bad at it. And then I came to terms with it, and I've gone back to it now. But we will see how long I continue because I'm still not good. But I'm getting better. I am getting better.
Yep.
That's pretty much the only new game I played this year. This year I mainly played a lot of Fortnite, a lot of Minecraft, because Fortnite kind of popped off this year.
I played a lot of Fortnite. A lot of Fortnite.
So we did that. Shows, guys, I don't think I watched any new shows from 23, except maybe Ahsoka.
That's the only one.
You know, we did a whole episode on Ahsoka. You can go back and listen to that if you want. Give me a call when you want to talk about movies, because I watched a lot of movies this year and no shows. So
okay.
God bless. I played Minecraft and Fortnite and Zelda. Bye. That's all I got.
So I played a lot of games this year. Correction, I played a lot of games until May, and then I stopped playing video games pretty much. So this year, I'm looking at my list. I have my list here on my phone, as you can see. I started off the year strong because we had to get in the Zelda vibe. I finished Link's Awakening, which was a long time coming, but I did that as a live stream series on the Joystick Drift podcast, which I do want to say is another thing that I did this year that I don't think is going to get talked about because the podcast isn't currently active at the moment. Because I stepped away because, I can't have a full-time job, run 2 podcasts, and edit. That's too much. So I had to step away from one, and we're all still friends. We all still talk daily,
right.
so it's fine. There's no bad blood or anything. But something I do want to mention is we did get that channel from, I think we were at 500 subs in January, and we hit 1,000 in May. So there was a lot of good stuff going there. I played a lot of streamed a lot of games for that, which Link's Awakening was one of them. We also played To the Moon. I did another run of Breath of the Wild. Those are the things that I was oh, I'm going to stream. So I'm also going to play these games. And little hint, I might be bringing back streaming next year, but
Whoa.
I got to get some stuff finalized before I do that.
Whoa.
So outside of that, I did play Persona 5 Royal, which, if Tears of the Kingdom didn't come out this year, would be my game of the year. I know it's not a game from 2023. You can't even say the Switch port is from 2023 because the Switch port came out last year, but it is such a good game. I was reflecting back on my time with Persona 5 because a lot of the music was in my Spotify Wrapped because I listened to a lot of the music. So I was listening to it as the Wrapped was going. And I just remembered how solid of a game it was. It is in my top 5 favorite games of all time now. I really love the characters. I really got attached to the Phantom Thieves, and I love the story that was presented there. And TBH, I'll just say it, I'm not a Persona fan. I'm a Persona 5 fan. I'll just say it. Unlike Jackson, who won't say that he's not a Zelda fan, he's a Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom fan.
I like Zelda.
I mean, yeah, you can like Zelda, but you've only played Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
I think,
so.
what if Next year, I can do a YouTube video where I just play through every Zelda game.
Please do. That would be so funny to watch.
That'd be great.
Because at least I've played a bunch of other Zelda games. They might not be my favorite. Like
But
I didn't,
you gotta get
I didn't
through
like Link's Awakening, but I played
anyway.
it. Anyway, Persona 5 is an incredible game. I want to go back and do a New Game Plus again sometime next year. The problem is I just don't have the time. Like, if I had
Right.
infinite time, yeah, I'd replay Persona 5 and Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Like, I would replay all of them, but I don't. So, it was a really fun game. I am going to go back and play it again at some point because I am fully confident that I can max out all my confidants if I do a New Game Plus, because I was very close my first go-around, but my second go-around, I should be able to get it. The next game I played, which was more of a replay for like the fourth time, is Doki Doki Literature Club. That's one of those games
I knew this was gonna come up.
that is like, it's just on a yearly replay because it's such a short game and it's very easy to like sit down one night and just play through the whole game and say, wow, what a great and solid game that I love so much. And then I move on with the rest of my year. And it's like, just replay it every 6 or so months. I have gushed about that game so much. It was in a video we did on the YouTube channel, so I'll kind of keep it brief. I didn't think I was going to like it. I played it last year on a sub goal for joystick, and I didn't really like it the first time around. And then I went and played it again, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually peak, because I started noticing all these different things and all these little things that you don't notice the first time around, especially when you're streaming and paying attention to 10 other things.
Mm-hmm.
It was just such a great experience, and I love that game. I love the characters. The side stories are phenomenal. What a great game. The last game I'll talk about before Tears of the Kingdom, because I got to have my obligatory Tears of the Kingdom spiel,
Of course.
is Nintendo decided to drop the final Xenoblade 3 DLC right before Tears of the Kingdom. And if you have been with us since last year, Xenoblade 3 was my game of the year last year, so it was really nice to go back. And even though it wasn't focused on the main cast, it had a completely different cast and told a completely different story. It was really nice to go back and play that game again and just get into Xenoblade. It's another game I will do a New Game Plus of eventually. But yeah, Future Redeemed was really good. If you haven't played Xenoblade, go play Xenoblade. It's very good. One of Nintendo's most underrated franchises. I said what I said. Now.
Whoa, you're crazy.
Here we go. My game
Some
of the year.
shows.
No, I didn't even do Tears of the Kingdom yet.
Sorry. You gave it away.
My game. I mean, you knew Tears of the Kingdom was my game of the year.
You
That's
know,
not.
you already
That's
know
not
what's
going to
up.
surprise anybody. It has been a really surreal year because it almost feels like we've come full circle. Because I remember when we started this podcast 4 years ago. This has just been a big year for like coming full circle on stuff. Because like we got episode 100, we got Tears of the Kingdom, like all this stuff coming full circle from 4 years ago. And I also talked about this in a video I did. It's just so crazy to me that like this is the most invested I've been in a game going from announcement to release in a long time. So the fact that I was able to cover it and just really get into it and get into all the rumors and the waiting and the speculation and the trailers and the hype and like going to GameStop for the midnight launch and coming home and sitting down and playing through the opening of the game and just playing through the game. The game is incredible. Baldur's Gate 3 is probably really good. I don't know. I've never played it. I've heard it's good, but Tears of the Kingdom is just mind-blowing, man. The story is phenomenal. The music is killer. The world is so fun. It's already my favorite game of all time. It's already surpassed Breath of the Wild, which is really weird because I haven't like finished it yet. Like I still need to go get shrines and Koroks and like finish exploring the depths and finish exploring the sky, and like there's still a bunch of stuff to do, but I already love it so much. And it's there is stuff I can be critical of, like, oh, I don't think we should have done memories again. Oh, I don't, like that the underground is really just a copy paste of the map above. Like there's stuff I can nitpick, but ultimately the things I love about it outweigh the bad things a lot more. And I don't know. We've done 2 full episodes on Tears of the Kingdom. I've done a video about it, and now I'm talking about it here. So I don't really know what else to say. If you want to hear more of my thoughts, go watch those other things. So I'll keep it brief here. What a game. Love that game so
amazing.
Much. Can you stall for like 30 seconds
so
I can drink some water?
You did great. You know, Tears of the Kingdom is a good game. I think, conspiracy theory inside me thinks the Game Awards is rigged, and I have nothing to back that up. I have no evidence. I have no reason to say that, except, are you for real? Like, it's not.
What I
Tears of
can
the
tell
Kingdom?
you,
like,
is while we're on the topic of games to kind of close out, Nintendo did their year in review stats.
they did, yeah.
So my top 3 most played games this year was Persona 5 Royal at 85 hours, Fortnite at 102, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom at 120.
Oh my gosh.
Another game that I played this year that is almost went unspoken is Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I haven't finished it yet. I'm on World 4. And then I was playing it, and then we got really busy with podcast and work and scheduling and all that, and I haven't had time to go back to it. I'm going to try to finish it over our break because I do want to finish it because I love it. It's very fun so far.
I never did my Nintendo stats, so while you're talking about this, I will go through my Nintendo stats and update you.
All right.
And let you know what it says.
Woo! Moving on to
I played
shows.
more games than I thought. Huh, go me.
Do you want to, are you set up enough to do it now?
I mean, I'm scrolling through it if you want me to.
Okay, you can go ahead and do it. That way it's just a clean cut from games to shows.
I played 16 games with 111 total hours. Now, realize this. The Fortnite hours are only on the Switch. My actual Fortnite hours are mainly on the PC at my house. So, most played game was Fortnite at 27 hours. That's only on the Switch. Then Tears of the Kingdom at 22. And then Jackbox Party Pack 3 at 13 hours. Because that one has the best quiplash on it. And it's so fun. My gaming trends was mainly party, and then it was action, and then adventure. I played most in June. Second was February. Yeah, I don't need to know any of that. What was your favorite game in 2023? It was Fortnite. Yeah, that's actually really true. And then it was Fortnite, Tears of the Kingdom, Jackbox Party Pack 3, and then Mario Kart 8. And then Jackbox Party Pack 4. And then Jackbox Party Pack 9.
You and Jackbox, man. Your poor Switch gets pulled out for Jackbox, and that's
no, for real. It's bad. Dang. One of my goals for next year is to play more games.
Me
because
too.
It's something I love so much and just never do anymore. And so I'd like this to look better next year. But that's my quick little wrap up. I didn't realize. I forgot you could totally do that. So anyway, continue.
Look at you go.
All right, get your little shows.
So shows. I have watched. So how many shows would you say you watched? I know you don't log them on Serialized the same way I do, but guesstimating, how many do you think you've watched? Because you've watched at least 3, 4.
Right,
for the
including
podcast,
the anime we watched.
Because we did 3 anime adventures and then Ahsoka, so you're at least 4.
So here's the thing about shows for me is I don't watch shows all the way through. I really do just kind of throw something on just to have it on. And so this year, I started watching How I Met Your Mother, which I really, really liked. And I saw 10 episodes, and then just school got busy, and so I couldn't watch it. Most of my TV consumption has to be something I've seen so that I can do homework while it's on.
Right, that makes sense.
So I started that. I watched the first episode of The Curse, which came out this year, and I just don't have Paramount, so I didn't finish it. I'm waiting till it finishes so I can go back. Other than that, I just kind of turn on Phineas and Ferb. Yeah, I don't think I watched a show all the way through this year that wasn't for the podcast.
Wow.
I didn't even get to watch the new Only Murders season yet. because
you need to just suck it
we're
up
waiting.
and watch it.
Listen,
You need to quit that
we're
wait for it.
waiting.
Like, you've been waiting since August. You need to just be like, guys,
this
we
is
need
toxic.
we need to shape up or ship out, and I'm gonna watch it
Right.
without you.
Yeah,
Like,
I also
I
want
would-
to watch The Bear.
I'd give you like 2 weeks if we were gonna watch a show together. I'd give you like 2 weeks, and then I'm like, no, sorry, the ship
no.
has sailed.
Also,
moving on.
like reviews for it weren't amazing, so I'm kind of scared to watch it. But it's okay. I will try to watch more shows next year.
Please do. We won't be racing to 100 movies next year, so maybe you'll have
Right,
more
so we can
time.
actually watch some shows. What an awful idea. We
My-
can get to that.
My
We can get
show
to that.
consumption would have been so much higher if we weren't racing to 100.
We can get into that here in a minute.
So, shows. For reference, last year, I watched... Where is it? I watched 44 shows last year in
Right.
total. Not just anime, but like in total, 44 shows. Currently, I am at 42. So I'm a little behind last year, but the difference is I have 6 shows that I'm watching right now that are currently airing that will be done by the end of the year. Like, it's a bunch of anime that were on like the last 2 or 3 episodes. And then all of those will end up going in shows watched. So I'll be closer to like 48 or 50 by the time the year is done.
See, that's just insane because there's not... If you're not in the anime market, 50 shows that you like don't exist. Like someone that doesn't watch anime would not have 50 shows
They'd have
from
maybe 4.
2023 to care about.
Maybe 3.
Right, you know 4 or 5, like, because I'm trying to think of like what came out this year, because most of the shows that come out now are like HBO shows like Succession or like Showtime shows and like Disney Plus originals, and it's just, that's not it. This isn't it, guys. Like, we need to figure out what we're doing with our shows, because this isn't working.
What I do think is really
Anyway.
interesting, and something I want to comment on, is this year compared to last year, I watched a lot more anime. This was a very, like, I could probably count on one hand the number of shows in this list that are not anime, and even less if you include shows that are animated. Like,
Right.
shows that are non-anime, looking through this list: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So 2 hands.
8. So 2 hands. So 8 out of 42 shows I watched this year were not anime. Some of them were animated, but most of them were not. So that's just, I just watch a lot more anime. And one of the reasons I watch anime is, to your point, most of the stuff we're putting out in the US just isn't good, or it's not enjoyable, or it's super woke, or it's super mature, like it's super sexual, or it's super violent. And anime just has this variety that Western shows don't have, because I feel like most Western shows are these really gritty, like adult dramas or kids shows, and that's it. Whereas
Right.
anime gives you a wide, like, you can watch a high school romance, you can watch a college romance, you can watch a fantasy, you can watch a fantasy where someone's transported to another world, you can watch a show about people killing demons and going to school to be a hero or starting a band. Like, there's all of these different variety of shows to watch, and that's why I like anime. I also like anime because 9 times out of 10, anime, and this mostly I would assume comes from the way manga is set up, is anime focuses on telling a really good story above all else. Whereas in the West, we've kind of become entrapped and entangled in this idea of there needs to be some ideology or messaging present for it to be a good series. Like, we need to teach you some life lesson, or we need to get this idea across. And then the story gets lost in there, and the character development gets lost in there, and it becomes more about pushing this ideology or trying to get this message across than just telling a really good story. There's an anime I watched, it's the most recent one on here, called Waiting in the Summer, and it's a 12-episode anime that is focused on telling this story about this kid who meets this girl from space, and they're falling in love, but they're also like trying to just film a movie with their friends, and it's really grounded in reality, very realistic, and it told its story in 12 episodes because they focused on getting the story across, and that's it. And if you happen to learn a life lesson along the way, great. If not, you still had a really enjoyable show at the end of the day. So that, in and of itself, is why I end up watching more anime, because it appeals to me more. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with watching American shows. I think that's totally fine. If that's, if Succession is your cup of tea, if The Boys is your favorite show ever, or you really love Invincible, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you love all the Disney Plus Marvel shows? Great.
Right.
That's your cup
Go
of
for
tea.
it.
That's just not me. So, that being said, wow, that was a lot.
That is interesting because, like, I Googled real quick. I was like, 2023 shows. And I was just like, I don't know what came out. Like, I literally have no idea what came out this year. And everything on here is like The Continental, which was the show they did on Peacock about John Wick, and it got awful reviews. The Continental, The Curse, that's rated MA and it's on Showtime. Secret Invasion, awful reviews. Gen V, that's the Boys spinoff, very like sexual. Monarch Legacy of Monsters, I've heard that's really good. That's new on Apple Plus. Murder at the End of the World, FX adult drama. Ahsoka, not great. So I'm just like looking at Twisted Metal, bad reviews, like all this stuff that came, like live action One Piece, and I'm just like, none of this is it. Like this, what am I supposed to watch?
Right.
Like I want to say like, oh, I want to watch more new shows, but there's just nothing new that appeals to me. Like, unless I'm really missing something, nothing new is appealing. And so, I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. Because everything on this list we got Velma. Get out of here. That show sucked.
I think the only good show that I watched this year that was not anime was Loki Season 2.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's one show. One. Out of a myriad of shows that came out this year.
Yeah.
So, and even then, Loki focused on telling its story over pushing any kind of message, and that's why I liked it so much. Is because I don't watch TV or watch movies to be reminded of the things that are going on outside my bedroom. Right. Like, I don't want to be preached to when I'm sitting here trying to relax after work or after going out. Like, I just want to sit back, relax, be entertained, laugh at some wacky hijinks. Like, I just started an anime this week called Science Fell in Love, So They Tried to Prove It. And it's these two scientists who are, like, getting really into science to scientifically prove whether or not they are in love. And it's wacky. It's weird. It's, like, it sounds dumb. It is dumb. But it's entertaining. And, like, I can just laugh and enjoy it. And that's what I want. So, that being said, there are a couple shows I want to highlight this year. I watched 23 new 2023 shows. That's actually kind of fitting. But of course, that number is going to jump because a bunch of stuff is coming in. The worst show I watched this year was Ruby Volume 9. It was so good. It was going good until about halfway through. And then they kind of lost me, which is sad because I want it to be good. It's a great concept. Terrible execution, though. I mean, I can't forget The Mandalorian Season 3 came out this year. I totally forgot about that. It was okay. You could skip the entire middle of the season. What else? Attack on Titan ended this year, which is, like, big, I guess. Attack on Titan's cool. Ahsoka came out. That was okay. What else? Okay, so my top 10 shows from this year, which again is going to change, but as of right now, number 10, My Love Story with Yamada-kun at level 999. Banger romance anime about a gamer guy and a gamer girl. So for all you gamers out there,
wow,
there is hope for you. Number 9, Tomo-chan is a girl. It's about a girl and a guy falling in love. Shocker, romance anime.
Whoa,
I know. You're going to see a theme here because...
Oh my gosh.
Number 6 through 10 is romance anime.
Just run through them. Just
Okay.
run through them.
Number 8, The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. Number 7, Horimiya. Number 6, The Dangers in My Heart. Number 5, Loki Season 2. All right, top 4. Number 4 is Mashal, Magic and Muscles. I don't want to say too much about it
So we're watching next.
because I don't want to spoil it for Jackson.
Yeah.
It's so freaking funny, though. It's so good. It's another wild and wacky. The animation is sick. That's great. Number 3, Oshinoko. On God. Best. It is anime of the year. If you don't think Oshinoko is anime of the year, I'm sorry. You're wrong. Like, factually speaking, you are wrong. It is the best anime that came out this year. And before you say Jujutsu Kaisen or One Piece, yeah, you have like 2 good episodes. Okay? 2. That's it. Oshinoko, whole season that's good. If you haven't watched it yet, you should watch it. I'm going to make Jackson watch it at some point. Number 2, Demon Slayer Season 3. What can I say? The Return of Peak. I'm very excited for Season 4 next year. It's going to be great. Swordsmith Village arc holds a special place in my heart because it brings in my girl Mitsuri. Oh my God. Let's go. And then, of course, number 1, which I was a little iffy on whether or not I could include this one as number 1, but I let it slide. It's My Hero Academia Season 6 Part 2. So, because they cleanly split the first half of the season that ended at the end of December, and then they took like a 2-week break into January and came back with the second half. So, like, I consider the second half to be a 2023 anime because it was in the winter season, and it was very cleanly split. So
That makes sense.
of course, it's My Hero, bro. I don't know if you can tell. I really like My Hero Academia. I have like 7 Deku Funko Pops. Like, it... I don't know what to say. Season 7 starts the day before my birthday, so that's pretty cool.
That's crazy.
But yeah, it's been a wild year.
All right.
Watched a lot of anime.
Good stuff. Man.
Talk. I need to take a breath. That was a lot.
This is actually a really great opportunity for us to go into right before. So here's the thing. We're about to go into movies, right? This is the big cheese. We both watched over 100 movies this year.
We've got a lot to talk about.
We've got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about our favorites, our least favorites, what it was like to do like a race. But before we get into that, I just feel like I feel really bad that we've been complaining about how there's no good shows, there's no good movies. Like, this was kind of a hard year for film because we were on strike for so long, and, you know, stuff that was delayed for COVID is like just now coming out, but it's still disappointing when it comes out. Quality's not there. What are we supposed to do? Like, I don't want to just present this problem with no solution. Well, that's why we're here to present the solution, which is the sponsor of today's episode, Lore.tv. So, what is Lore.tv? Let me tell you, it's a fundraising platform, more than a streaming platform, but it's building their streaming platform one subscriber at a time. Now, Lore is a streaming platform that allows monthly subscribers to spend their monthly subscription funding on movies and TV shows that they actually want to see. And you get to fund the shows you want to see rather than letting Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus just spend your subscription on whatever. Now, you can fund shows through Loot, which is an in-app currency and gets refreshed every Tuesday. But you can also buy extra loot for an additional fee to throw to your favorite shows. It's like a game. You get little in-game currency, and you can use it to tell Lure what projects you want them to fund. Now, Lure has already raised over $80,000 for independent filmmakers. Isn't that crazy? We love Lure so much. We really believe in their message, and so we'd really like to thank them for sponsoring this episode. And speaking of supporting independent filmmakers, you can use our code NERDPOD, that's NERDPOD, at Lore.tv, that's LOOR.tv. If you use our code, we also get some of that support, and we get some of the proceeds from that. So thank you so much to Lore for sponsoring the show, and thank you to you for sponsoring us and Lore.tv. Now,
real quick,
here we are.
Before we go into movies, I have one more thing I want to track, and it's like 30 seconds long. I just want to note, you see a lot of manga back there. I read 41 volumes of manga this year, which is also going to spike while we're on break because I'll have time to read. I have a ton that I haven't reid. I just wanted to throw it out there because I do read, and I do things that are not attached to a screen. I promise. I don't just stare at a screen all day. So
see, that's the difference between us. I do. Also,
at least you're honest about it.
I also want to let you know that if you stick around, we're going to break down our podcast stats too for the year.
Oh, that's true.
So we get to hear our most popular episode and audience and everything. So if you were here the whole year and really want to know all that stuff, stick around to the very end. So
We also might
this year,
might be teasing some stuff for next year at the end.
Oh,
You're gonna have to stick around and find out.
Stick around and find out. So 2023 was a fascinating year for movies, and I have a couple points to hit. But first of all, we, at the beginning of last year, decided that we should do a challenge. And I said, hey, I really want to watch at least 100 movies this year, because I'd never watched 100 movies in a year. And I was like, this is my goal. And Nick said, okay, let's make this interesting. And so we decided to make it a competition. And we said, let's see who can get to 100 movies first. Little did we know, this would be such a horrible decision.
This was a terrible idea.
As we very quickly sucked all of the joy out of watching a movie possible.
Yes.
And turned it into a chore, a game. Just, did we cut the game? No. We kept going. We were men of our word, and we finished it strong. There was like 1 month that we were like, can we call a truce for 1 month?
Can we call a truce? I need a break
right now. So we will not be doing that again. But I will say, positives, it removed the decision paralysis that choosing a movie used to be for me.
Yes.
I used to very much be like, I have to watch a cinematic masterpiece anytime I sit down and watch a movie. What if I don't like it? This and that. And it got to a point where I was like, okay, if I'm going to watch 100 movies, beggars can't be choosers. Like, I will not be able to find 100 like banger movies. Like, you can't just choose your favorite movie every time. You know, not every movie you see is going to be your new favorite movie. And I really think that doing the 100 movie challenge really got me to expand my tastes in ways I didn't expect, because I just became way less picky of what I watched. So that was the biggest positive, was it just got me to choose something and press play. And it got me watching a lot of stuff that I don't think I would have chosen originally. And it got me watching a lot of stuff that I forgot I really liked. So there was a lot of like really like old Disney movies and like movies from my childhood that I watched. And it was just like, wow, this is a banger. Like, I forgot how good this is. So that being said, Nick did end up winning the movie challenge. That was a couple episodes ago. He got to 100 movies before me, and that's okay. But currently, as of Friday, December 15th, now this is a little earlier than we usually do this episode, so I will have more movies I watched this year after. So come back for our first episode next year, and I'll tell you the final total. As of now, I've seen 112 movies this year. That is my current count. So
I'm at 105.
Yeah. So I will probably end with more movies, but you got to 100 first. That's our little toss up. So 112 movies in a year. Honestly, I'll probably watch more next year. Like, I really, really do intend to watch more next year.
Unless next year is a really like banger year for movies, I would be shocked if I broke 50.
Yeah,
because
that's so interesting.
I really this year more wanted to watch. I really wanted to watch more anime, but because of the challenge and having to watch movies, I ended up watching a lot of anime movies because I kind of found the medium there.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, there's not 100 anime movies to watch. Like, that is the one department where anime has a step down. Is a lot of the movies I watched were not animated. There were a lot of live action movies that I watched this year, which is where a lot of my live action consumption comes from, is watching movies. So it's not like everything I watch only ever is animated. I do have a preference for that, but I do watch a handful of like live action stuff too.
It's also good. It's good for you to watch a variety of things. Like, you should watch some live action, some animated, some anime, some action, some comedy, some family. Like, you really need to pull in from every little genre so that to like really fully expand your movie taste, which is a YouTube video we did a while back. If you want to go back, how to expand your movie taste. So 113 movies. How do we want to do this? Do we want to just kind of hit some highlights?
Question. Because
I just hit some highlights.
I have my movies watched in 2023, but I also have 2023 movies ranked.
Right.
So how do you?
So
do you want to just go through the 100 and be like, here are some of the better movies I watched this year, or do you want to just do 2023 movies?
So hit me with some of your highlights, some of your highs and lows from the year overall.
Okay.
Even if it wasn't a movie from this year, if there's like a consistent theme between them or one that really stuck out in a good or bad way, just anything you have a comment on.
Okay.
Let me hear it.
Whew. All right, we got 100, so I'll try to keep this brief. I always start the year, and I fully intend on doing this again next year. I always start the year with Weathering With You every single time. This year is going to be a little interesting because I'm going to have to put the DVD in the Blu-ray player because I don't have Max anymore. So, which is fine because like that's why I own the Blu-ray. I also might, if I have some leftover Christmas money because I budgeted out for buying other people gifts and it seems like I'm going to come under budget, I might finally cave and buy the collector's edition online. So I have it. So I'm definitely going to watch that at the beginning of the year. And that's how I started this year. I saw Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which was really good. I saw the new Sword Art Online movie, the second progressive movie, which was so good. Don't look at me like that.
I highly doubt that.
It was good.
I'm sure it was not, but
I'm sure we can disagree on that. I watched the Lego movie, the Lego Ninjago movie. Those are good. Emperor's New Groove, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. If you haven't seen that movie, it's so I forgot how funny that movie was.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I got on a little bit of a Pixar kick, so I watched like Monsters Inc., Toy Story, Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3. I cried at Toy Story 3, which never happens. I never cry at movies. Yeah. I also watched, so here's one from this year, Somebody I Used to Know, which was I don't want to call it a rom-com. It was a romantic drama.
A rom-drom?
From Amazon with Allison Brie, and Danny Pudi was in it. And that's really the only reason I watched it. And it was just so bad. It was not good.
I figured you were going to bring that up.
I didn't like it. I liked the actors in it, but the premise is just like this girl is going to her ex's wedding with the full intention of winning him back over. And like destroying the wedding. And Danny Pudi is there and is like, maybe you shouldn't do this. Like, this is really toxic behavior. You shouldn't do this. And then the end of the movie was just like Allison Brie going to a nudist camp and like there was full frontal nudity. And I was like,
just why?
I can't do this.
What's the point?
I also watched the Evangelion movies. They were okay. I got my yearly rewatch of Inside. I watched 8th Grade this year, which was really good.
8th Grade, I was going to bring that up. I need to watch that again. That is such a good movie.
So good. Oh my gosh.
Peak.
Live action Speed Racer is really good if you haven't watched it. Okay, here's the actual.
Not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's
what
not.
do you mean? The live action Speed Racer is peak. You just don't want to admit it. I'm sorry.
Oh,
you are wrong. Here's the actual worst movie I watched this year. It's not one from this year, so I can't count it this year.
Right.
Dragon Ball Evolution, the live action Dragon Ball movie. I watched it. Everyone was like, because I posted on my Instagram story that I was going to watch it, and everyone was like, don't watch it. It's really bad. You shouldn't watch it. And I was like, no. As a filmmaker, as a writer, I have to watch bad things so I know what not to do. And there was a part of me that was like, well, maybe it's not that bad. No, it was that bad. It was awful. I wouldn't even call it. It was like Dragon Ball adjacent. Another contender for worst movie of the year is the Super Mario Bros. Movie from 1993, the live action one, not the animated one. We're gonna get to that, but the live action one.
Oh my gosh.
I'd never watch it again. I don't know why I own 2
Bad.
copies of it now. What else? I watched Sleeping Beauty, which I had never seen before. The Mario movie.
Crazy.
Suzume, I'm going to swing back to that one. To Me, The One Who Loved You and To Ever You I've Loved Before. I talked about it in a video I did about anime movies. You should watch them. They're very good. They go together. You can watch the video, and I explain it a little more. I watched this movie called Over the Sky, which my Letterboxd review was just, can we watch Weathering? Can we get Weathering with You? We have Weathering with You at home. Because that's all it was. What else? Transformers was okay. Don't even get me started on Indiana Jones. I rewatched the entire Iron Man trilogy this year, and I forgot how good all of the Iron Man movies are. Because, Iron Man... Listen, the Iron Man trilogy is really good when you don't have people whispering in your ear that it's bad.
That's so true. Even Iron Man 2 is good.
Iron Man 2 is great. I don't know why everyone had this sudden switch up. They're like, Iron Man 2 is actually really bad. Iron Man 3 was such a betrayal of his character. Shut up. You just want to be a contrarian.
The villain in Iron Man 2 isn't the best work Marvel's ever done.
No.
But it's also not
But this was
bad.
also early phase 1 pre-Avengers.
Right.
Like, give them some slack.
Yeah. You can't expect that of them. I don't know. Okay. Anything else from the...
Oh, yeah, I'm still going. That was
years?
like 70. I got my last chunk here.
All right.
Asteroid City was... We'll get there.
We'll get there.
What else? I watched Anastasia for the first time. That was really good. We, for an episode, watched all 3 My Big Fat Greek Weddings.
What a good time.
I will die on the hill that I think I said the second one was the best one.
You said the second one was the best one. I still think the first one is better.
I still think the second one was better. I watched The Black Cauldron on Disney Plus. That was actually really good. The Princess Bride I watched again. Always really good. Chicken Little, one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. On God.
Really?
What else? Five Nights at Freddy's. We'll get there. I also watched, and I'll get to this when we talk about 2023. I watched The Boy and the Heron and The Shift this week. Those are the 2 most recent movies I've seen, and they were pretty good. But that's what pushed me over 100. So that's what I've got for this year, or
all right,
as a whole. Let me know what you got, and then we can jump into specifically this year.
All right. This year, honestly, it was a really interesting year for movies for me. I think this is because the beginning of this year was when I got more acquainted into college, and I kind of was ready to expand my movie taste. And I've decided I'm never doing that again. Because this was the year for some of the most traumatic films I've ever seen in my life. Looking at this list, so many of these, traumatized me. Shall we go down the list?
Yes, we shall.
The Menu. Really great movie. I've actually watched it again recently. Really good. But at the time, little innocent me was not into it. Let's continue. American Psycho. Probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It's just Christian Bale running around naked with a chainsaw. It's not. There's nothing redeemable. There's nothing redeemable about American Psycho. And film bros can come at me if you want. I have a lot more to say, but not for a PG audience. Shall we continue? Cocaine Bear. Saw that in theaters.
Dude, that was so funny.
That is such a funny movie.
I don't know if it was good per se.
It was
really
good
funny
because
though.
they knew what they were doing. I watched This Is the End, which is one of the most inappropriate movies I've ever seen. And it just got really demonic at the end, and I didn't appreciate that. But still really funny. Lyle Crocodile was traumatic for me. That was really awful. How is
that traumatic for you?
It was just bad. I watched The Lobster. God knows why I felt the need to watch The Lobster. Not a good movie. Not for the children or for the adults, TBH. Really, probably the most screwed up movie I've ever seen. It's pretty bad. I watched National Lampoon's Family Vacation. Not Christmas Vacation, but Family Vacation. And if you like Christmas Vacation, just stay with Christmas Vacation, because the Family Vacation one is 10 times more inappropriate and not funny at all. I watched Interstellar, which was actually really, really good. It's not traumatic at all. It was just I needed air after, because it's 3 hours long and just melts your brain because it's so complicated and it's so freaking good. I watched Theater Camp, which had Ben Platt in it, and it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. I watched Tropic Thunder, which is so funny and so racist.
Is that the one where Robert Downey Jr. does blackface?
Yes, and he
does
it. But
you can never tell. Like, it's really hard to tell that it's him, and at that point, they should have just cast someone else.
No, that's the joke, though. Like, if you watch the movie, that's the point. So funny. Could not work today at all. Anyway, my traumatic movies aside, I think I've realized that you can be a film bro without watching horrible, horrible movies.
No, that's not true.
There are good movies out there that are not inappropriate. Let me go down. The Lego Movie. Great movie.
Yeah, it's not a film bro movie, though.
All right. Well, some of the other highlights from this year, what I actually watched. Dan in Real Life. It's on Disney+. Steve Carell. Really underrated. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Amazing. I watched both Alvin and the Chipmunks movies. 10 out of 10. I watched Shrek 1 and 2. 10 out of 10. Saw 80 for Brady, which we will come back to. You came over and we watched Your Name. That's the anime movie, the Makoto Shinkai. I watched all the John Wick movies again this year, which I'd seen them like the year prior. But I watched all 4 of them again. I saw Lyle Lyle Crocodile.
You already talked about that one.
Did that come out this year? That was 22. That one's not good at all.
Second time you've mentioned. Do you have are you secretly a fan of Lyle Lyle Crocodile?
I just need to bring it up so that I can hate on it as often as possible.
Wait,
there's such an awful movie.
Did I miss my yearly rewatch of Cars 2? No, I did not.
Oh gosh. Okay. That was close.
Dodged a bullet.
I watched The French Dispatch. It was good. Not close to my favorite Wes Anderson movie though. Not my fave. I watched Venom, the Tom Hardy.
It's okay.
Not good. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I don't think it's better or worse than Morbius though. Because they're both Sony Marvel movies.
It's actually kind of hard. I think Venom
Why is it
better
hard?
than Morbius.
Venom is better than Morbius. 10 times over.
Yeah, it is. But at least Morbius is funny bad. Like, Venom is just not... It's, boring bad.
I mean, I guess that makes sense.
I watched a couple Harry Potter movies I'd never seen this year. I watched Renfield, which we'll get to. That movie was not good. I watched Weird, the Al Yankovic story, which I want to rewatch because that movie's actually phenomenal.
What is that on? I heard it was really good.
It's really good and it's getting a ton of awards, but it's only on Roku, which is because Roku bought the rights to it. I don't know. But it is on DVD, so you can get the DVD, or rent it somewhere else. We watched all the Indiana Jones movies. We did a whole.
The first 2 are the only
on
good
it.
ones.
We did a whole episode on it. If you want to go back and listen, but I don't think it's for me. Indiana Jones is just not. I didn't really enjoy anything past the first one, and it's just kind of whatever. I watched 8th Grade. We said that. Dungeons and Dragons, which one from this year we'll get into that I really liked. I watched Step Brothers this year, which is so funny. This one with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. And they play the adult children. It's really, really awful. Really funny. I watched Bottle Rocket, which is Wes Anderson's first movie. It was based on a short film he did, and I think it should have stayed a short film because it had pretty much that much of a story. I watched Blazing Saddles, which was really funny. I also watched Spaceballs. Those are both Mel Gibson movies.
Had you ever seen Spaceballs?
I had not seen it before this year. I thought it was really good, though. It's definitely a different kind of humor, but it's definitely, like, it's funny.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be a parody of Star Wars.
Right. And, you know, kind of like, all the old actors in it is really funny. We watched all my Big Fat Greek Wedding movies. The first one's my favorite. I watched a Goofy movie. This was a big year for me because I realized a Goofy movie is my favorite Disney movie.
Let's go.
And, you know, honestly, a Goofy movie might need to crack my Letterboxd 4. I might need to shift some stuff around, guys. This is a big deal. We saw FNAF. We'll talk about that. I rewatched The Atom Project. I watched Prince of Egypt for the first time in forever. And I also, this year, I watched Die Hard for the first time.
Congratulations.
And I'm very proud of myself. And it was really, really good. And it is a Christmas movie.
No, actually, it's not. Do you know why? Because Bruce Willis said it's not a Christmas movie.
Bruce Willis...
He's in the movie, bro. If Bruce Willis says it's not a Christmas movie, it's not a Christmas movie.
Yeah, but, like, also, we keep having these conversations about how, like, actors don't really have a lot of say in the movie, even though we think that they do, just because they're on screen.
This is different, though. He's not he's not changing the story. He's just telling you it's not a Christmas movie.
Right, but he's wrong.
No, but
like,
he's right. It was not shot with the intention of it being a...
Who cares about intention? Intention,
almost like intention
is
what drives the entire movie.
Right, but like your intention can be one thing, but if it's perceived another way, like your intention almost doesn't matter. It's kind of like, I don't know how you can't think it's a Christmas movie. All right. So for new movies this year, I saw 23 new movies.
I saw 30.
And I know you watched
slightly
more.
Ahead.
So do you want to... I think we should go from worst to best.
I think we should too. We can go through each one.
How do you want to do this because you have more?
How many did you say you have?
I have 23.
Okay, I'll blast through my first 7 and get to 23, and then we can go from there.
Right. So give us your worst new movie
of
2023.
It has not changed.
It's time.
In 6
it's time,
months.
Gamers.
The worst movie of 2023, I would like to nominate Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Dang.
It was awful. I would rather,
I
don't know, I'd rather sleep on a bed of nails than watch Dial of Destiny again. I don't know.
It's not my bottom movie.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting.
I think there's one that's worse.
Okay. Do you think we'll agree?
What do you mean?
Like, do you think we'll agree on what, like, do you think I will say, oh, yeah, that's a bad movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Wholeheartedly. Yeah.
I feel like I know what it is.
Okay.
Dial of Destiny was the worst. We talked about it in our summer movie episode. Next up, number 29 is Somebody I Used to Know. It was the worst till I saw Dial of Destiny. Number 28 is Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Weak start for Marvel this year. Weak start. Number 27 is Chris Rock, Outrage. It's his new special. I should have also mentioned we include specials as movies.
We do include stand-up specials in here, but I did not watch any.
I watched a couple. Chris Rock, Outrage is number 27.
I didn't watch any from this year. That's what I'll say.
The Chris Rock special was funny until he started making jokes about abortion, and that's where I drew the line. And then it kind of started being not funny, which is why it got placed at number 27. Number 26, I don't think we're going to agree on this one. Well, I know we're not going to agree on this one. Barbie, number 26.
Yeah, you're
all the
just
way at
wrong.
the bottom. No, you're wrong.
I think simple majority vote shows that you are not in the right on this one.
I don't know. You got to pull the right people. Here's the thing. You know what I've realized this year? This
What?
year has been a very polarizing year in terms of movie opinions.
It
for us.
has. It really
Because
has.
there have been like multiple movies this year that we have vehemently disagreed on.
I think as we go further in, you're just going to just get madder and madder at my list.
Yes, it's true.
And I'm honestly will probably feel the same for you. And so I was talking to Colin the other day. He was on the show a while ago. I'd love to have him back. But we watched a movie, and I was like, that was really good. And he said, right? He said, I bet it's better than whatever stupid Ladybug movie is at the top of the list. And I
feel so
died
attacked.
laughing. He was like, see, this is better than Ladybugs.
Is it though?
It was so funny.
Is it though?
All right. All right.
Number 25, My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3.
Yeah, that's
It wasn't
based.
that good. Number 24, I feel so bad putting this here.
Oh, gosh.
Jesus Revolution.
I have.
It was
I'll
it
get
was
there.
a movie that I've seen.
I'll get there.
I don't have much to say about it. That was it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm on 23, so you can
Okay.
go. Do you want to
So
do
my-
5 at a time? So that way we end with like doing our top 5?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
So, number 23 for me was Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Yeah, that checks out.
I will watch Dial of Destiny over Quantumania any day. Because
I wouldn't, because at least the girl who plays Cassie Lang is attractive.
Oh,
Like it's visually interesting. Indiana Jones is just an 80-year-old guy, and then Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and that's it.
that's horrible. Yeah, Quantumania, not good. The only emotion I felt after Quantumania was, dang, I really want to watch Star Wars.
True.
So we did that. And then one of my roommates at the time, when we were in the middle of Quantumania, literally had a panic attack at the end and had to go
I
to the
remember
hospital.
you telling me about that.
He went to the hospital and was there like until like 6 a.m. It was really awful. 22, Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny. Boring. I cannot stand that movie. I will never watch it again. What just a disservice to Harrison Ford. Like, I'm sorry. He deserved so much better than that movie. 21, Can You Do Something For Me? And this movie did not do something for me. The Little Mermaid, the live action
I
one.
still haven't seen that one.
Thinking back, I would like to shift this list a little bit. And I would like to change my 21 to My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. Because that movie had continuity errors out the wazoo. Like, a movie that went to theaters has, like, really noticeable continuity errors.
True.
And I was like, this is like some beginner level editing problems. Like, how? Like, I watch a lot of college short films that are better edited than this. Like, it was awful. So 21 is My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3, and then 20 can be The Little Mermaid, because at least it was colorful, and I
That is
enjoyed.
a way to describe it.
I didn't stop. And then
that wasn't even the intention behind the joke.
I thought you were making a race joke.
No, I was just like, I mean, it's got vibrant fish and colors, so yeah, that's a way to describe
No,
it.
that's the problem. Ooh, that's so funny. Yeah, no, the color, at least it was not even like that colorful. Like, the colors were really dull. It did not look fun at all.
Can we get Zack Snyder's The Little Mermaid?
So see, 23. What was I on? 20? Wait.
Yeah, you just did 20.
Okay. Number 19 was the Nicolas Cage special Renfield, which was the one where he played Dracula. We rented that movie just to watch it, not knowing Awkwafina was in it. And we just got jump scared so bad. And, like, the story was really like really not there. It was funny for like 30 minutes and then was really awful for like the last hour. And you're like, what was that? And I'd like to say that Awkwafina was in 2 of my 5 worst movies of the year.
Dang.
Sorry, girl.
Was she in Quantum? Oh, she was in
She was in Little Mermaid.
The Little Mermaid.
Have you heard Scuttlebutt?
Have you heard Awkwafina is going to be in the new Kung Fu Panda?
I'm sorry. I liked her in the second Jumanji movie. That's... Gosh,
I thought she was okay in Shang-Chi.
She was good in Shang-Chi. All right.
My turn? 23 through 19?
Another 5.
All right. My number 23 is The Boy and the Heron, which is the new Studio Ghibli movie that just came out this week.
You didn't really like it then?
I didn't really like it. I don't know. I've never really been able to get into Studio Ghibli movies. I tried watching like Spirited Away. The only one I've actually kind of liked was Princess Mononoke. And that's more because I could see all of the different references and inspiration the Zelda team took for Breath of the Wild and now Tears of the Kingdom. So it was more of like, in my mind, an unofficial Zelda movie before they even made the games that the movie would be about.
Right.
But The Boy and the Heron, my Letterboxd review was like, it had really pretty animation, but it felt like I was on an acid trip the entire time.
Right.
Like I couldn't tell you what was real, what was fake. And maybe that was the point, but I left the theater confused. And I don't know. They're also, and you know, I'm a simple guy, right? Monkey see action, neuron fire, neuron go off.
Right.
There was nothing here for me. Like,
Yeah.
compared to like the shift we saw last night, I was like, ooh, neuron activation. There's something going on. The Boy and the Heron was like, we're going to talk, and then we're going to walk, and then we're going to talk, and then we're going to sleep, and then we're going to dream, and then we're going to talk. And I was just really bored.
Right.
The entire time.
Sounds like it was good for a different audience.
Yes, absolutely. If you love Studio Ghibli movies, I think you would really love this movie. It just didn't hit for me. Number 22, Cocaine Bear. It was pretty funny, and I'm really glad the guy from Han Solo was in it. That's about all I have to say about that.
Dude, I need to rewatch Cocaine Bear because it's such a disgusting movie.
But it's so funny. Like, it's just kind of weird.
I was like, why did Elizabeth Banks make this movie?
Speaking of bears, not in cocaine, Five Nights at Freddy's is number 21. Which is so sad because I wanted it to be good, and I've gone back and watched all the game theory videos about the lore, and I forgot how like dark but really good the lore of FNAF is, and how much they butchered it in this movie. Like, looking at the timeline of the videos, we didn't even know William Afton was a person until the books came out after Game 4.
Yep.
Like, we were 4 games and 2 books in before William Afton was mentioned by name. With the movies, we're like 20 minutes in and he's on screen. You don't know he's on screen, but you know he's on screen.
Yeah.
So it's like, man.
But also, if you go into the movie knowing anything about Five Nights at Freddy's, you know that's him. Like,
Right.
There's no question in your mind.
Like, they don't try to hide it very well.
Yeah.
So that was number 21. Number 20 is Wish. It was okay. I don't know. I feel like Wish and FNAF are at not even like 20 and 21. They're more like at the same level.
Yeah.
Because I didn't feel like FNAF was good enough to get number 20. But also the only reason Wish is at 20 is because of This Is the Thanks I Get, and King Magnifico is an icon and finally a real Disney villain again. Even though that song was probably written by AI, and I don't know.
See, I just don't like that song.
I do. I thought it was the only good song on the album, but we did a whole episode on that. And then number 19, I think this is going to break your heart. Number 19, John Wick Chapter 4. It's not the best John Wick movie.
Why do you have to do this to me?
I think John Wick Chapter 2, if I remember, I think I said the second one was my favorite.
See,
no?
That's just not right because
I don't even remember which one I said was my favorite. I think I might have said the first or the third one.
I think because the second one is the worst one.
Yeah, I think we agreed on that.
I think you said the third one was your favorite.
I think it was the third one.
Yeah.
That makes the most sense in my head.
I think the first one is the best one because it's like starts off so well. But as a John Wick fan, the fourth one is my favorite.
All I'm going to say,
of the John Wick movies.
I fell asleep during John Wick 4.
It's
like,
long.
I fell asleep when he was in the
really
desert,
long.
and then I woke up and he was in Japan. I still have no clue how or why he got to Japan. I just know that I fell asleep. Oh, I also fell asleep in The Boy and the Heron for like a solid 10 minutes. He was like outside, and then I fell asleep, and I woke up, and he was in the dream world, and I was like, oh. That's weird.
Oh.
Okay. So yeah, John Wick chapter 4.
Dang.
I hate to break your heart like that.
It's gonna get worse.
No, it is. The further up we go, it's gonna get worse.
We're just gonna disagree more and more because I feel like our ranking last year was really similar.
This year's gonna be very different.
Not at all. So 18 through 14?
18, 17, 16, 15. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Number 18 is Theater Camp, which was on Hulu. Ben Platt did a good job, and it was really funny. I think it was shot really well. It was an indie production, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it, and so they had to take some creative liberties. There were some parts of it I really didn't appreciate, and it was just, they took a couple things too far that I was just like, wasn't necessary, and it like kind of hurt what was a genuinely really funny movie with a lot of heart. Number 17, and I just feel really, really bad, but Jesus Revolution hit my 17. And here's the thing, it was a good movie. Like, it was pretty good. It just couldn't really hold a candle to a lot of the other movies I saw this year.
Yeah.
Just enjoyment wise, because these are ranked based on my enjoyment, not like objective opinion. These are how much I enjoyed a movie. What was I on? Was that 17? All right.
Yep.
So number 16 was 80 for Brady. Now, this movie, I saw it in theaters, and it was legitimately one of the funnest theater experiences I've ever had. But it is objectively like really stupid. Like, it's not like, but also they know that it's stupid and they play into it. Like, they realize that it's not supposed to be serious. So, and it honestly, like, it has a lot of heart. Like, it's really funny just to go in and like laugh with friends, not taking it seriously. I love a good old lady movie. But number 15 is Cocaine Bear, which I saw in theaters. We just talked about that. It's stupid. It's fun. It's disgusting. Number 14.
Do you not have the rank turn on?
No, I do.
List?
I'm trying to, but like I can't see it on the computer.
Oh, you can't? That's weird.
Can you see it on your computer?
I'm not on my computer. I'm on my iPad.
Oh, yeah, I don't see it on the computer.
That's
Number
weird.
14 was Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, earlier this year, I did say this would be the movie of the year, and I was horribly mistaken. And I'm really sorry, guys. I really wanted it to be movie of the year. But I think that they did it and were like, I think that they had a huge potential to do a 3 or 5 movie series and really like hurt themselves by not giving themselves that openness to do so. And they really rushed what they wanted to do from like the like 8 or whatever games there are, and just kind of threw whatever they could in there. And it was just like, you could have been patient and like really flushed out this universe and just didn't. So that's what's up. So that was 18 through 14.
All right.
So we're doing 13, 12, 11, 10. So
we've done the math wrong, because somewhere in there the last 2 seconds should be 10 through 6 and then 5 through 1. So I'll go all the way up to 10.
Just go all the way up to 10.
And then you can do the 3, and then we'll go. What is my 10? Okay. I know what my 10 is. Sorry. I'm viewing in Carousel, so I can actually see the titles of the movies as
Right.
I'm going. All right. What number am I on? 18? Number 18 is Asteroid City. I thought it was okay at best. I was very bored, and in
You're
my
just
mind,
wrong.
I said it was Evangelion for film bros, and that was my review going into it, and I was so on the mark with that one. It literally is like, if you don't understand it, that's okay. It doesn't have to make sense. It actually is more enjoyable if it doesn't make sense. And I don't know. I'm just not a big Wes Anderson guy. Like, I like Fantastic Mr. Fox, but that was it.
See,
So-
what I've learned about you based on this list is
great.
just
He's gonna bring it up again. Which
This is a
point is
different
not going to
point.
be helped the further we go into this
this is a
list.
different point.
Oh, it's a different point. Okay.
I don't say this in a mean way.
So it's the same point.
No, it's a different point.
It's the same point, just worded differently.
Yes. I don't mean this in a mean way, but you're just basic. Like you
That's
really, like you legitimately just don't want a movie that makes you think.
Whoa, that is not true. I like movies that make me think in an intellectual way, not think as in like, is this the part of the movie that's the play, or is this the real thing, or is this the play within the play? Like, that was just confusing and didn't make any sense.
That's
to me.
the beauty of it.
No,
that's the beauty of
we've
it.
gone over this. A movie being complicated doesn't make it good. Just because you don't understand the ending of Inception doesn't mean that it's a tier movie. Your
Well,
movie
it's
can.
not-
I'm not speaking specifically about Inception. That was just
Right.
the example I used. I think
Right.
Inception's a really good movie. But my point
It's more
being,
about how they execute the complicated idea.
just because your movie is complicated doesn't mean it's good, okay?
Right, that's
Gosh.
true, but if they properly execute a complicated idea, it's way more impressive.
Sure. Okay.
So,
Number
there
17.
you go.
Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. I was actually really surprised with this one. I thought it ended up turning out really well, and I really hope they do more with it, because this was my first exposure to D&D. So I think I don't know, it was really fun. It was really enjoyable. Chris Pine is really funny, which is also why I love King Magnifica, because I think Chris Pine really sells that role. Number 16 is John Mulaney, Baby J. It's his new stand-up special.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. It definitely wasn't as good as when I saw it in person, but I can't really say much about that, because it's always better when you see him in person as opposed
Of
to on
course.
Netflix. So what was that, 16? So I'm on to 15. Now I can't see the numbers.
Dang.
Number 15, Burger King foot lettuce. That's a throwback right there.
Dang. Got
Number
'em.
15 is I'm gonna make sure this. Yes, it is 15. The Seven Deadly Sins: The Grudge of Edinburgh Part 2. It's an anime movie. It's a Seven Deadly Sins spin-off movie. It was good. It was enjoyable. I thought it was fun. Number 14, Demon Slayer: Kimetsu no Yaiba 2: The Swordsmith Village. Bro, top tier, because it put the best episode of the show on the big screen with the surround sound. Thank you. They're about to do it again, and I'm very excited about that. Number 13, Transformers: Rise of the Beast. Actually, they finally made a good Transformers movie aside from Bumblebee. So,
So you're the only one I know that thinks that's a good movie.
except for the weird like post-credit scene where they're like, "Yeah, we're tying this into G.I. Joe."
G.I. Joe is here, and you're like, why? Well,
Aside from that, it was
I
good.
know a couple people that went and saw it and just were like, that is the worst movie I've ever seen. And
I don't know. I thought it was enjoyable. Like you said, I'm very simple. Big robots fight,
Right.
neuron activation, boom. I'm like, yo, whoa, the robots are punching each other. Boo, 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 boo. Yeah, I'll take it. It's whatever. Number 12, The Sound of Freedom. It's a really hard one to talk about because it's a very sensitive subject matter. All I'm going to say is it was a really well shot, very well put together movie that turned out really well, which is why it's number 12. Number 11. I think you're going to be shocked that this one is number 11.
Okay.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse did not break my
Okay.
top 10. It is number
Interesting.
11. It's good, but it's the first half of a movie. And I just want to break this down for a second, because everyone's like, we need to get rid of the argument that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is a bad movie because it's part one. If you say that, then that means Empire Strikes Back is a bad movie because it's part one of Return of the Jedi. And I'm like, no, that's literally not the same thing. There's a difference between setting up a trilogy and taking a duology and breaking it into a trilogy, because
Right.
that's what they did. They set up Spider-Verse as Into the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse 2, and then they took the second one and then they broke it in half, just like Jesus broke the bread. Bam! Broke it. And they were like, here's part one, here's part two. That was a bad analogy, but I thought it was really funny in my head. And when you have it be a part one, part two, the difference between that and something like Empire Strikes Back to Return of the Jedi is you've now taken one story and cut it in the middle, and now it's two halves of one full story, whereas Empire Strikes Back is one full story that ends, and then it is picked up and continued in the next one. Return of the Jedi is not the second half of Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back is not the first half of Return of the Jedi. It's a
Right.
very different argument. And most of the people who are saying it are the Spider-Verse apologists who think it is the greatest thing since sliced bread, which is not true in any way, shape, or form. I'm not going to say it's a bad movie. I'm just saying it's not the greatest animated movie of all time, because you have movies like Emperor's New Groove and the Lego Movie, and literally 90% of the Pixar movies. Spider-Verse has a lot of competition to call it the greatest animated movie of all time, especially when Across the Spider-Verse is just part one of a story.
It's hard because
When we get to Beyond the Spider-Verse and we can put those together, maybe I'll reevaluate and say, yeah,
right.
this actually is a good movie trilogy, even though it's not really a
Right.
trilogy. But you know what I
Well,
mean.
it's hard to say. What I was gonna say is just it's hard because we can look at Across the Spider-Verse as a singular entity all we want, but it's really hard to really nail it down in stone because it is part one. We don't know where the story's going, so it's hard to quantifiably say this is the best animated movie of all time when you're like, I don't know, it's not even done yet. We're not there yet. But also you also have to think about if the second part is bad, does that make the first one bad? So it's I don't know. It's hard because I would argue that even if the second one, God forbid, just sucks, then we still have the first one to watch and be like, oh, there was so much potential, at least this one is good. I don't know. I think that's a hotter take that I just don't really agree with. So let's see. So I have 3 before we go to top 10. So number 13, I saw A Haunting in Venice. It was good. I enjoy those Agatha Christie mystery ones. It just wasn't as smooth as the other ones. I will say, Death on the Nile, trash. Not a good movie at all. I really hated that movie. But Murder on the Orient Express with Johnny Depp, amazing.
Top tier.
Really, really well done. A Haunting in Venice kind of hit in the middle where it wasn't as bad as Death on the Nile, but it didn't capture the magic that Murder on the Orient Express did. Number 12, we have Disney's Wish. It was higher up than I expected it to be.
Really?
Yeah. So here's the thing. Here's what you got to think about. It broke top 15, it hit number 12. But if you look at the movies under it, you realize how not hard that is.
That's a good point.
So,
My list is the same way.
Number 12 sounds really high for Wish, but also yeah, it was better than FNAF or My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3 or Cocaine Bear or Quantumania. And so it's 12 sounds high, but really anything outside of the top 10 was just it was fine. So I think I would argue that my top 12 are movies that I really enjoyed. And then anything after that was pretty good. And then the bottom 5 are poo-poo, garbage.
Yeah, that checks out.
So number 11 is Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. I just kind of watched that on a whim with a group of friends.
I told you it
We had
was
a great
really
time. We just hung out. honestly, here's what I really liked about it is it was very. I didn't feel like I was out of the loop for not knowing stuff about Dungeons and Dragons. I think it was really just a really solid movie that also was pleasing to Dungeons and Dragons fans.
Right.
Which is how IP movies need to function. They need to be good movies first, and then you can incorporate the IP stuff.
Yeah.
And we're just not there yet. So, all right.
Do you want me
10
to start?
through 6.
10 through
10
6.
through 6.
All right.
We're in the top 10 movies of the year, guys.
Woo!
This is when we're getting to the stuff that we actually enjoy.
Number 10. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem.
All right.
It was good. It was enjoyable. It would be a lot higher up on the list if the humans didn't look ugly as frick. I'm going to keep it 100% with you. Don't tell me that's the point. They look ugly.
The entire point is the movie's supposed to look like it was drawn by children.
Yeah, I know
Listen.
kids who can draw humans who look better than that.
Why? I don't understand. You can't. This is so frustrating. I don't know why you can't like a movie. Most of the movies you don't like, you just don't get it. And this is just so frustrating.
I don't get it.
You don't get the point.
Where is it clearly defined in the movie that this is what they're supposed to look like?
Because it's the art style.
Okay, how do I know that outside of watching an interview with Seth Rogen where he talks about that? I shouldn't have to do extra homework and listen to an interview with Seth Rogen to understand why the humans in TMNT look so butt ugly.
You should just it's implied on
Everything
the style.
looked cool. I really liked how the turtles looked. I really liked the art style. I really liked the way the other mutants looked. Humans though, no.
Yeah.
Ugly.
Okay.
Ugly. Clearly I didn't hate it that much because it's number 10.
Right.
I'm just saying it would be higher up if I didn't want to puke looking at what's her name? April O'Neil. She was hard to look at, okay? Jeez.
But they
not
liked
the
anime.
best in character design.
But they liked Attack on Titan.
No, one of them likes Attack on Titan.
Also,
anyway,
sorry, TMNT skins in Fortnite.
Oh yeah, I need to hop on after this and get one of those
They're about
skins.
to take all my money.
All right, number 9. This might be a little controversial because it may not count as a movie. The Once Upon a Studio short.
No, that doesn't count as a movie.
Well, too bad. It's on the list, and we're already here. So, it's on Letterboxd, so it counts. Number 9. It's the best thing Disney's put out in a long time, and that says a lot because it's really just a nostalgia fest. Which, contrary to popular belief, because I usually don't like nostalgia bait, but this one was good nostalgia bait, so I'll take it. Number 8. I didn't think this was going to be here, but it is. Oh. The Shift, which is the new Angel Studios movie that I saw last night. Now, before you say recency bias, no, it's actually really good. It's essentially the Book of Job, but as a movie. And I know that sounds like a really boring or like a very simple premise, and I think that works in its favor because that is it's a story that doesn't get told a lot because when people are picking stories from the Bible that they want to adapt, it's usually the Christmas story, the crucifixion,
Noah's
David
Ark,
and Goliath, Noah's Ark, like all of these that like the popular ones, and Job kind of gets overlooked. But what's really interesting is it's not like a one-to-one, like we're going to tell the book of Job. It was split up really well. It has this great multiverse element to it, and I think his name is Neil McDonough is how you say it, who played the benefactor, did a incredible job. Like, he really sold that role because he's essentially playing the devil. Like, and he really gets into like that conniving, like, I'm going to manipulate you. Like, hey, that guy up there, he doesn't care about you, but I care about you. And like, he played that character really well. Sean Astin is also in it.
He's good.
And he did a good job. So it is a really good movie.
I saw him in a Christian movie a while ago.
If you have the opportunity to see it, I highly recommend it. It's not, and I know that when you say like it's a Christian movie, everyone's like, oh, well, it's going to be really preachy. And it does have that message at the end of the day, but I don't feel like it was so overpowering that I couldn't enjoy the movie because it was there. Obviously, I'm a little different because I am a Christian, so I'm like, oh, that's great that that's in a movie. But even if you're not, I feel like you would still enjoy the movie to a certain extent. So, number 7, a movie that nobody came out and nobody talked about it, even when it was out, and nobody's talked about it since then, Haunted Mansion. Correction. I know I said Once Upon a Studio is the best movie Disney's put out. Haunted Mansion is the best movie Disney's put out in a long time.
Yeah, it's good.
It's criminally underrated. I'm so sad that it just didn't get recognized at all. If I don't get the Blu-ray for Christmas, I'm going to buy it myself because I really want to watch it again. And I just wish more people watched it. It's on Disney Plus now, so you can watch it. Give it a chance. It's very entertaining.
It's
very
legitimately
enjoyable.
really good. Has a lot of charm and a lot of heart.
Right?
Like,
and it gets
legitimately
really deep about halfway through.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang. Okay.
Like, wow. This really is a movie about grief, but it's the Haunted Mansion. Like,
Right.
booyah.
So, number 6. Do you want to, you know what it is?
It's not Ladybug.
No.
It's because that's higher up.
Of course. Number 6.
Oh, gosh.
It's so funny because you haven't even seen this movie. Sword Art Online Progressive, the movie Scherzo of Deep Night, number 6.
See, you're just
so
wrong.
good. Builds on. You can't say I'm wrong. You've never seen it.
I know what I need to know.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I think I do.
Takes what was really good about the first movie and builds on it and makes it better and just continues in the right direction. And I really need them to greenlight and announce the third movie ASAP because I want more of this good SAO content because the anime sucks, but the movies are good. Don't listen to Jackson. He's not a true weeb. He'll never understand you.
I think you're reading the list backwards. You're supposed to start at the bottom first.
I will listen. Next time you come visit, I'll get the Blu-ray and we can watch it. I think you would like it a lot more.
I can't break your heart again. We had that was the most tense episode we've ever done of me saying that the Sword Art Online movie was garbage, and you were like, "No, but it's really good." I was like, "No, it's not." Okay, so 10 through 6. Ready for this?
I'm ready for this.
All right. I really don't know if this will make you mad. I can't decide. Number 10, the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
It made top 10. I don't care.
It made top 10. Here's
I
the
don't
thing.
care.
Here's the thing. Everyone's like, I cannot believe the Super Mario movie made your top 10. Here's the thing. It's fun. It's a good movie. It's enjoyable. It's for children. Okay? It's not. It's a kid's movie.
Whoa. It's a family movie, not a kid's movie.
Disagree.
No. What do you mean disagree? It literally half the movie is Easter eggs targeting the parents sitting in the theater with the kids.
See, that's fair. I think there's a spectrum of like kids, family. Family movie would be over here. Kids movie would be over here.
Give me an example of a family movie.
Despicable Me.
What is different about Despicable Me versus the Mario movie?
It has a lot more heart. It really does. I need you
what?
to understand. Yeah. Have you
telling
seen Despicable Me recently?
Of course I've seen Despicable Me.
Recently?
You're telling me that a movie about a brother trying to find his brother and like finding the family. You're telling me that's not.
It's
not. Don't have heart.
It's not just the story. It's about the execution.
What do you mean the execution?
Because Despicable Me, like the execution is incredible, and he's like trying to adopt these like 3 little girls, and he like goes and saves them, and like you're like, yeah, let's go. Mario movie, you do that, but it's not near as well executed. So it's just like it's a lot simpler.
I still think it's a family
and so
movie.
that doesn't mean it's bad.
I think you're
because it made
wrong.
top 10. So I really enjoyed the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and I saw it in theaters twice. And Jack Black carries, and
Did you see
the whole
Peaches is
cast
getting
good.
nominated for Best Original Song?
Yes. Did you see him perform it at a Jonas Brothers concert?
I did.
He killed it. Listen, Mario Brothers movie is good. It's enjoyable. It's one of the movies. Like looking at this list, I made my peace with putting it in the top 10 because it's one of the movies that has stuck with me the most this year. Like all these other movies were fine, but like they didn't stick with me. But Mario really did. I feel like it has a staying power. So that's number 10. Number 9, Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion was a banger.
True.
Stop pretending it isn't. Oh, okay. Number 8 was a movie I actually watched the other night. Number 8 was a movie I watched the other night, which was The Holdovers. Very, very new. It wasn't even streaming somewhere. I had to buy it like a loser, like they did in the
Cringe.
olden days. So we watched The Holdovers. Really, really good. If you have the opportunity to watch it, it's like kind of a Christmas movie, but not really. It's not super Christmassy. I would watch it any time of the year. But it's like a super preppy high school, and this kid has to stay there for Christmas break because of circumstances. And so it's just him and the really mean teacher there, and they just kind of like teach each other how to be friends.
I saw a trailer for this. I don't remember what movie I went out to see, but I remember seeing a trailer for this, and I know what you're talking about now.
It's like a period piece time capsule in the 70s. Like it was so immersive, and there's a lot of little details that like really, really work. So I was shocked. It broke top 10. Like really, really good. Number 7 was Oppenheimer. Now, I saw Oppenheimer in theaters, and it was quite an experience because the power went out partway through.
Oh, I remember you telling me this.
It was a whole thing, so we were in there even longer than the movie was. But Oppenheimer was really good. I think it was executed incredibly well, and I enjoyed it. And I'd like to watch it again. But I think like that was another one that stuck with me a lot. I had to think about it for a while, like a lot of Christopher Nolan movies are. And I'm kind of still thinking about it, and I want to rewatch it minus 2 scenes. And so that's my number 7. Number 6.
Number 6.
Number 6. Hit me with it. Number 6, Barbie.
Yeah, I am going to hit you. That's wrong.
Barbie is funny. The cast is incredible.
Yeah.
The production is super impressive.
Sure.
The set was really good.
Yep.
The soundtrack was really, really good.
That's debatable.
The comedy was there. And like there's a lot of debate, and we talked about this on the summer movie episode. And so if you want to hear our whole Barbie debate, go for it. I don't really feel like rehashing it 2 hours into an episode. But I think like any political viewing you have about Barbie, just put it in a little box, tie it in a bow, and put it to the side. And just enjoy it for what it is. Because it's meant to be stupid. It is a stupid movie, and that's the point. It's a stupid movie. It's the Barbie movie. Like, you can be like, oh, but this woke feminism garbage, whatever. Just, it's a stupid movie.
Here's the thing,
and,
though.
like, you can
like,
believe that if you want. Like, wholeheartedly believe that. Like, I'm not saying don't believe that. Because I do have some worldview issues with it. And there's a lot of stuff I don't agree with in Barbie, but I can put that aside and appreciate how much work went into the production.
Okay.
And enjoy it.
I can too, but here's the thing. You say, like, take however you feel about it politically and put it in a box and set it to the side. The problem is the movie itself keeps taking your box, putting it back in front of you, and adding more to it in front of you. Like, it consistently keeps reminding you about this thing that you're trying to not think about. And that was my issue. Was like, I did try to go in with an open mind, but in the first 30 seconds, they've already taken the box, slid it back in front of me, and shoved it in my face again. And that was the first 30 seconds of the movie, which does not set a good precedent for the remaining hour and a half.
I got the Blu-ray for my birthday, and I'm going to watch it again. I think it's a banger.
I'm just kidding. It's the only good part of that movie.
I think overall, just as a society of a whole, I don't know. Barbie might be movie of the year.
What?
Just overall. That's what I'm saying.
I think
Top
you're
5.
wrong,
Top 5.
but it is what it is. All right. Top
Box office is
5
different.
movie. Yeah, well, going by box office, that means Mario movie is the movie of the year.
Yeah, because of its re-release. That was not fair.
No, we went over this. The re-release counts because it was National Cinema Day, not like a random Tuesday in November. Because they were upset that they dropped the box office. Okay? Calm down.
Top 5.
Anyway. Top 5 movies of the year. At this rate, we're going to, like, 10 years from now, we're going to be unable to do episodes together because the opinions are just going to keep going. We're going to be like, I'm sorry, I can't speak to you ever again. You didn't like the Super Mario Bros. Movie 5?
Honestly, I prefer 3. You know,
Honestly,
it's all about family.
I prefer the first one.
I was talking to my dad yesterday, and he was like, man, he's like, someone asked me to help them rip a CD. He's like, I got to find our CD player. I was like, what? That's crazy. And he said, yeah, I broke our last one trying to pirate Fast and the Furious. He said, I made it to 7 before they updated their copyright policy. Which is funny because I say pirate. He was just ripping the DVDs that he owns and just putting them digitally so that he can watch them in the car.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not technically piracy, but it's funny.
So... all right. Top 5.
It's just going to get worse.
Movies of 2023. It's going to get so... Actually, I don't know. I feel like my top 5 isn't that controversial. At least in my eyes.
I disagree.
There's one on here that's going to be controversial. But it is what it is. All right, number 5. So, So I told you before we started recording, I had a big shakeup last night because I was looking at my list. The movie that is now in number 5 was number 2.
Whoa.
It dropped from 2 to 5.
Oh.
Which is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Okay.
I had to really look at it and think about it again. It's the best Marvel movie they've put out in a while. And it does a really good job of wrapping up the Guardians trilogy and sending off the characters who are getting sent off and setting up the new characters and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, there were too many death fake outs for me. And, I dropped it one space on the list for every time they faked out a death. So now we're at number 5.
Dang. And
I don't know. The Guardians are really the only thing in Marvel I cared about since, everyone else I cared about is dead. So, yeah, that's my number 5. All right.
Do you want to go back and forth for top 5?
I think we should go back and forth. I think that's a better idea.
Number 5 for me, and you're really not gonna like this. My number 5 is Asteroid City, wholeheartedly.
At least it's not number 1.
I loved Asteroid City. I really did. Like, I think my only problem, and might be a weird problem to have, I think there were too many celebrities. I think that Asteroid City would have benefited from a smaller cast, but also Wes Anderson is really into doing like 8 storylines in one movie, so I mean, pop off, I guess. But I just really, really love the aesthetic of the movie. The story, honestly, I followed it pretty well. I think like after I thought about it, like after seeing it, I understood it and I got there. So Asteroid City, not Wes Anderson's best work still, but I think it's better than some of his other films. And I enjoyed it. And seeing it in the theater was a really good experience.
That's fair. You're also, like, you're a Wes Anderson guy. Right. So I'm not upset. I get it. I can understand that everyone has different tastes. You saying, like, a Wes Anderson movie is that high is like me saying a Makoto Shinkai movie is that high.
Right.
Like, it just makes sense. When you're obviously going to be biased towards your favorite director more than anyone else. So, number 4.
This is bad. I know what this is. I can't.
Do you want to take a guess?
Oh, gosh. Is it Is it the Ladybug movie? Is it the frickin' Ladybug movie? Whatever
Miraculous Ladybug and Cat Noir, the movie number 4. I've ranted and raved about this movie, okay? Because this movie came at the perfect time. Because we were at the peak of strike. All of the big companies seemed like it was over. It seemed like it was over for movies. Everything I had seen up to that point was pretty bad. We were coming off of Indiana Jones and Barbie. And things just were looking really bleak. And I wasn't really feeling it with movies. And I was like, all right, maybe this will be good. And then the Ladybug movie came out and was like top tier, bro. Like, it did a Disney movie better than a Disney movie has ever Disney movied, okay? Like, the music, top tier. Animation, top tier. Romance, top tier. Story, top tier. Villain, peak. Don't even fight me. You can't fight me because you haven't seen it. If you watched the movie, you'd understand what I'm talking about. It's just so good. And it restored my faith that good movies can still exist. It restored my faith in movies. I don't think you understand. Bro, I was coming off of Indiana Jones, Barbie,
I need to watch it.
Asteroid City. It was a bad week for movies for me, bro.
You just described 2 really good movies and 1 bad one. I don't understand.
No, I described 1 really bad movie and 2 okay movies.
Oh my gosh, I need to watch it. Like,
you do need to watch it.
I need to watch it. I'm trying to think of what I could force you to watch that would be comparable to this.
Pick something.
I mean, it has like a 76 audience score on Rotten
That's what
Tomatoes.
I'm saying. What is a critic score?
Like 50.
Oh, yeah, that checks out. Critics are wrong about everything nowadays.
You mean the critics?
I gave it a 4.5 star.
You mean the critics didn't like the Ladybug movie?
Yeah, because they didn't get it, okay? You make fun of me for not understanding Asteroid City. The critics don't understand the Ladybug movie.
I feel like you were on like some opposite plane of existence when it comes to some of these movies. Like, you have some kind of foresight into knowledge that no one else possesses. Like, I don't understand how this happens. It's something else. I don't know. Like, like, they don't get it. They don't get it.
It is what it is. What's
Miraculous
the
Ladybug
meme?
and Cat Noir the movie.
What's the meme where he's like, "You don't understand. It's pure cinema." That's me.
This one,
with
it's
the
like, I'm the only one that understands the complexities of this cinematic masterpiece. This movie isn't stupid. You're stupid.
I need to make that as a meme to post on the Instagram.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right. Number 4 for you.
Are we on number 4? My list is so boring compared to yours. Like, yours is
listen,
feral.
You say I'm like weird, but at least it's entertaining. You're like the film bro who's like Oppenheimer number 1, Asteroid City number 2, Barbie number 3. Okay, we get it. You're listing off the Oscar noms. Jeez.
You see, but also like Taylor Swift was my number 1 artist, so like I
Who's
am
really
basic of the
here?
basic. I'm basic of the basic. All right, number 4, and this movie started at my number 1. When after I saw it, moved to number 2, moved to number 3. Moved to number 4 as I just processed it. My number 4 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Let me say, I can agree with what we said earlier of like, it's not done yet. The story's not done. We're only halfway through what the story's going to be. We don't know if they're going to keep trying to push on, whatever. There's like controversy on the production, said everyone was overworked, the story, like I did have issues with the story. There's a couple things in it, like at the end of the day though, there's some political things in it that were weird to me. I don't know. But at the end of the day, that was the most hype I've been in the theater pretty much all year. Like, seeing Across the Spider-Verse with a group of people, it was like me, Logan, and Gavin all went. And we just sat down not really knowing what to expect. And then the Gwen Stacy drum sequence starts, and we were all like locked in. Like, it was tunnel vision for the next like 2.5 hours. It is legitimately, I'm not going to say it's the best animated movie of all time because we don't know the staying power yet. And also, like, it's a Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man movies are good, and this one is good, but like, you can't compare it. You know, like, it's hard because we've gotten so deep into these franchises that we don't know, like, how to rate anything anymore because it's all comparison to other franchises. So, like, but at the end of the day, this was a super hype theater experience that and it's one of the most impressive animation movies I've ever seen. The animation is very impressive. As someone that has, like, attempted animation before, like, that junk is not easy. They put their souls into this movie. Whether they got compensated for it, that's a whole nother conversation. But, like, all of that aside, like, at the end of the day, this was just an incredible experience in the theater for me. And I just really enjoyed it. And I'm excited to go see the next one. And the soundtrack, banger soundtrack. That's what I got.
All right.
That's my case.
I'm good. I'm alive.
Cool.
Okay. I think you're going to be shocked by this one.
2 hours, 15 minutes in. Like, we can do this.
I think you're going to be shocked by this number 3 because I think you're going to expect it to be higher.
Okay. Oh.
Number 3, the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Okay.
It was
surprised.
Really good. Family movie of the year. Banger. Peaches, top tier. Movie in general, top tier, but I can admit it does have its fair share of flaws. I do wish it had maybe an extra 15, 20, 30 minutes. Could have used just a little bit just to, like, give that pacing a little more room to breathe. I wish Luigi was in it more. I wish Peach had another female character to talk to. That would be great. But aside from those things, it was a really great movie. I think it's never mind. I can't say it's the best video game movie of all time because Sonic the Hedgehog 2 exists. Which was my number 1 movie last year. Which I just realized we're going to have to either delay this episode next year or, like, hot off the presses because Sonic the Hedgehog 3 comes out on December 20th. And you know we got to get Genre Geeks back to cover Sonic 3.
True.
We got to keep the streak alive. Anyway, the Mario
so
movie was really good. I've watched it 3 times this year, which is the most I've ever watched a movie in 1 year. Well, recently, when I was a kid, I'd watch the Lego movie like twice a day. But it was really good. I really enjoyed it. And honestly, that's all she wrote about the Mario movie. I can't wait to see
we already talked about it, but
where it goes in the future with Nintendo stuff.
All right. Now I'm really curious about your last 2 because I really, like, there's nothing else I can think of you saw this year that was, like, better. Okay, so number 3 for me, we're in top 3, right? A movie I did not expect to be in here at all. Movie that I wasn't even gonna see. I literally just saw it because I was bored on $5 movie day. We went and saw this on a whim, and it was such a good time. Really just, it blew me away in a way I did not expect at all. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. And I think this is the first time I've had 2 animated movies in my top 5.
That's funny you say that because my top 5 is Guardians of the Galaxy and animated movies.
Yeah. So TMNT was not something I went into with any expectation because I didn't see a lot of promo. Like, I really, like, it was kind of quiet other than Seth Rogen being like, hey, we made this movie. And I was like, okay. Animation was stellar. Story was super heartfelt. Jackie Chan did a great job. You know, I've always loved the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too. They have like a special place in my heart. Overall, just like it really, and I feel like this is bad because the bar is really low for movies at this point, but it made me feel like all I want is to go to the movies and feel something. And that movie hit me right in the heart. I feel like it was a really, really realistic like depiction of being the weird kid in high school. And I was like, this is like, it was really, really solid and was really grounded for such a wacky movie. And I think it's just what like kids needed in a movie. Like I would have loved to have that movie when I was like early high school and just felt like a dork, because I think that it like has a really positive message that is shown really well. And that's just rare. That's super rare. So TMNT Mutant Mayhem, if you haven't seen it, highly recommend. It's like rated G, so like bring the whole family. Yeah, didn't expect it, but it's there.
I've already said my piece about that movie, so we're gonna move on.
We're gonna move on.
I'd like you to know that in the last 30 seconds there has been a shift.
Oh
number
my
one
gosh!
has become number two. Number two has become number one. Because I was really thinking. I was like, oh, I don't know. So I switched it because I was like, that makes sense. So number two, I'll explain partially why this one got bumped down, even though it technically is a 5-star, and my number one is a 4.5 star. So according to my ranking, I'd say this one is better.
Enjoyment. It's about enjoyment.
It is about enjoyment. So number two, Kaguya-sama: Love is War, the first kiss that never ends. 2 reasons this got bumped down to number 2. It was number 1. 1, I had to fight to get this included in the movie competition because I watched it not as a movie because I didn't want to go. I wanted to go see it in theaters, but I didn't want to go by myself. And the only time I go see it was like at 10 o'clock at night at the movie theater in the mall, 40 minutes away. I was like, I'm not doing that. So I watched it when they dropped it on Crunchyroll. But when they dropped it on Crunchyroll, they dropped it as 4 episodes instead of the whole movie. I don't know why they did it that way. But they didn't change anything. They just split it up. So I had to kind of be like, does it count? Does it not count? And it's really good. I love Love is War. It's my favorite romance anime. The movie is a great continuation. It's a great arc, especially with where season 3 ended. But it didn't feel right to have a movie that I watched as a movie at number 1. That felt really disingenuous to me.
That makes sense.
So I was like, okay, let's bump it down to number 2. It's still in the top 5, but it's not number 1. So,
that makes sense. And I can't even be mad because Love is War is actually really, really good.
It is. Love is peak. Thank you very much.
Love is peak. So
I think my number 1 is really going to surprise you.
I just can't. It has to be something I haven't seen because there's nothing on here on my list that I know you've seen that you haven't mentioned, unless you secretly like loved Oppenheimer and watched it in secret. I don't know. Like, all right, number 2. I feel like this is a hot take at this point in society. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 hit my number 2, and I've talked to a lot of people recently, specifically that like were like really disappointed with Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but just like TMNT, like I went to that theater and I left feeling something. Like Guardians of the Galaxy has been a story I've been following since day 1, like since the release. Like I've been watching them, and I'm so connected to all of those characters, and like I've followed Marvel even through Guardians and through like Avengers and like everything Guardians has been in. I saw Thor: Love and Thunder in theaters for the Guardians, and they were there for 30 seconds, and I was pissed. But this movie, like, I really don't like that there's so many like air quote franchise movies in my top 5, but I feel like Guardians 3 wrapped up their story really, really well for me. Like, it was a very satisfying ending to characters that I have loved for many years. I cried like a baby in the theater, and I can agree there are some issues with it. There are too many death fake outs. I don't like that that's a pretty common thing in movies now. And, it's not the best Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I need to rewatch the second one, but I still think the first one is better. But I haven't seen the second one more than once or twice. But I just really, really enjoyed it, and it hit me really hard because I grew up on it, and it really it wrapped it up really well for me, and I didn't have a reason to dislike it. I just had a good time, and it kind of took me back to when Marvel was good.
I know, right?
It was like,
isn't that crazy?
Oh, yeah. That's just two.
All right. Number
one movie of 2023.
What's great is I know what your number one is.
No, you do, just because I haven't talked
about it yet.
But
you don't know what my number one is.
I really don't.
Actually, I want you to go first. I want to leave you in suspense a little bit longer.
My number one movie of 2023. It's not going to be a shock to anyone that knows me.
Nope.
John Wick 4 did it for me in a way that none other movie did it this year. John Wick is probably my favorite movie franchise of all time. I'll put it that way. And similar to Guardians, it wrapped up his story so satisfyingly to me that I just it was the end of an era, and I wasn't mad. Because if you screw up an ending to a movie series you've been watching for years, then it pisses you off, and it makes it hard to go back to the other movies. That's what we've been talking about for Spider-Verse. Where, like, if the last one is hard, it makes it hard to go back because you see the wasted potential. So, just the way that this was executed was so heartfelt to me, and it was a really good theater experience. It was a really good theater experience because me and my dad went together, and it was in school, and everything was really busy, and it was really hard. And I was like, "Do you want to go see a movie?" And he was like, "Yeah, I really do." So we got Five Guys, and we went and saw John Wick 4 because that's our thing. We'd always watch John Wick together. And it's just, even outside of the franchise, it's one of the most impressive action movies I think I've ever seen. The entire, over-the-top shot of him with the big shotgun going through that entire building. Cool. So dope. Seeing that spectacle in theaters, I was blown away. And yes, it's very long, but I think they needed to do that to expand the story. And I think John Wick is similar to the Hunger Games in the sense of John Wick is not just bad guy kill people. There is so much deeper story there that I just really appreciate. Keanu Reeves is breathtaking. There's nothing else. There's no one else that could do the role like him. The aesthetic was on point. All the lighting was amazing. The fight scenes were perfectly choreographed. Also, Mr. Krabs as the villain. Get out of here. Roger Bumpus, who is a very credited voice actor and has been doing a lot more live action acting, which I'm so for. He was in Ahsoka. Dude, Mr. Krabs in John Wick 4? Get out of here. That's already a 5-star for me. So, yeah, I have it on Blu-ray. I want to watch it again. It hit me in a place that no other movie has done this year. And I honestly, so when I saw John Wick 4, it went to the top and it stayed at number 1 since. It has not left its number 1 spot since I saw it. So there you go.
All right.
I'm so
1.
Confused.
This movie has been it's been in the top 3 since I saw it when it came out. And if you know me, this won't surprise you at all. Okay. It really won't. Once you know what it is.
Once I know it, I'm going to feel dumb. We do this every time.
So,
I'm going to feel dumb once I know
one,
what it is.
And I am absolutely rewatching this week or next week.
I know what it is.
Is the new Makoto Shinkai movie, Suzume.
Yep.
I was sitting here thinking about it. I was like, oh my gosh, this movie actually is really good. It is a gorgeous movie. Absolutely stunning. And I do feel like Weathering with You is obviously my favorite movie. It's my favorite movie of his, and I don't think Suzume surpassed that, but it was able to meet it. It wasn't any worse, but it was on par with my enjoyment of Weathering with You. And I don't remember a lot of the fine details because it has been a long time. Like, I watched this movie in April, so it's been a hot minute since I've seen it, and that's why I want to rewatch it. But I feel like even without that rewatch, it is still the best and the movie I've enjoyed the most. I check Amazon every week waiting for that Blu-ray to drop, man, because I just want to have it physically. It's on Crunchyroll now, so like there is a way to watch it. But I want that physical DVD. I want to be able to physically add it to my collection. And it's just... Makoto Shinkai holds a special place in my heart. Just like you with Wes Anderson. I love Makoto Shinkai. I cannot wait for his next movie. I assume he's doing another movie at some point. It's probably not announced yet. But yeah, Suzume takes that top spot.
Go.
I loved it so much. And I wish I could have seen it more than the one time I saw it in the theater, so I could talk a little bit more about it in depth. So
that makes sense. I completely forgot about Suzume. I do feel dumb. We do this every time, but
that's what makes it fun.
I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. So we are 2 hours and like 26 minutes in.
Is getting close to episode 100 length.
Yes.
So we need to speed this up. So let's get out of here.
Let's hit our podcast analytics from this year. If you've made it this far, thank you very much.
Thank you so much
for listening. We really appreciate the good times.
We did spend the most time talking about movies, which checks out because we watched 100 movies this year.
Yeah, so that's kind of the thing. And honestly, we will have We'll have some good stuff on our first episode. I want to set some goals for the year and like some challenges. Just give you a little bit. We don't have all that now, but we do have a couple things to say. So, Nick, will you please share a little bit of our podcast stats from this year because they were really good.
Yippers. Okay, so all of these stats, if I say plus whatever percent, that's from last year. So
Compared
that's positive growth for this year. So our top episode of the year
I know what it
is the Super Mario Bros. Movie review feat Genre Geeks, which was episode 90. It currently has almost 500 plays. And it just,
That's insane.
I don't know what happened. It did okay when it came out, but it's been consistently going up since then. Like, it had a month or so where it wasn't getting any plays, and now it's like consistently going up. So thank you guys for checking out that episode. It is
good job. Shout out to
It was
Genre
a really
Geeks.
good episode. And
I was not doing well that episode.
No,
so
but
I'm really
it was
shocked
still a
it did
really good
well.
episode.
That's a story for another day.
So we are up 13% in streams, which means more
Way
plays.
to go.
We're
Thanks,
up
guys.
49% in followers. So if you're one of the 49%, hello. Thank you for checking out the show.
Welcome.
Plenty more
Thank
stuff
you for
to come
coming.
next year. And we are plus 26% minutes created, which
Let's go.
also cuts off at like, I think mid-November.
Okay.
So that doesn't include like this episode that's going to be 2.5 hours long. But what's really interesting is I feel like we've talked about this, is we're very much like every episode's going to be an hour and a half. It's going to be an hour, maybe an hour 45. And then we went 3 hours for episode 100. And then we went 2 hours for the summer movie. And then like we were just kind of like, oh, 2 hours. Like people are still listening. They're still watching. So it's okay for us to go that long if the conversation is really good. Like this episode's going to be a little longer. But then there's stuff like the Sword Art Online episode or the Christmas movies that were like a little shorter because just the conversation was good, but it wasn't enough to fill up 2.5 hours. So that's very interesting. We were number 25 on the podcast charts for TV and movies in Brazil. That was crazy. So to all of our Brazilian audience,
thank you
hello.
so much.
It is also... We've had like 2 or 3 people message that we're their top podcast for Wrapped, and that means so much to us. Like I reposted one, Jackson reposted one on the Instagram, and I can only describe in words, like on a screen, how much that means to us. because it's one thing to make a podcast and just kind of put it out there. And I have friends who talk to me about it, but it's another thing to have, one, random people on the internet, but two, someone from a completely different country that I've never been to in my life say that they like my podcast.
Right.
Like,
and it's their top podcast.
That's insane to me. So thank you to everyone who listens. It does mean a lot. And we did spend 9 weeks on the charts too.
Right.
So,
well, it's also like, I don't know. It's hard because like we can say thank you, and you may never fully understand like the genuineness of that thank you, because it's a big deal, especially to small creators like us. Like, you could go listen to the Conan podcast or like some big, like the Office ladies, some big thing, but no, you've chosen to listen to us even though we're so much smaller. And so like even just being small creators, that support, it's what helps us continue doing what we do. And so without that, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing without that. And so we just really, really appreciate the support on that.
So, and then the last, like, kind of summarizing everything, we had 2.2 thousand minutes created as of like mid-November. Our top country was Brazil, plus 49% in followers, and we had 138 top fans, which, if I remember correctly, top fans is people who it's their number one podcast, I think. Mm-hmm. So that's 138 people who we're their top podcast. Like, we're the podcast they listen to the most in 2023. That is insane.
That's insane.
Wow. What a year. It's
Thank
been a great
you guys
year.
So much.
We could spend another hour going over like just podcast stuff.
Right.
But
absolutely.
We've also been here the long. So like, real quick, favorite episode we did this year, least favorite. I have mine if you need time to think about it.
I do need a second.
I know my favorite was honestly fixing our favorite movies. I had
That's so shocking.
So much fun doing that episode and going through our Letterboxd list and just talking about movies that we love that we would fix, but like don't necessarily have anything to fix. Another very close contender for that one would be the 100th episode. That episode was just so fun. It still boggles my mind that we hit 100 episodes this year.
That's crazy. That's not real. Like, that's crazy.
That's wild. I don't know if I have a least favorite. I mean, maybe like one of the ones that I wasn't on. But even then, that doesn't feel fair because
it's not fair.
I
don't think I have a least favorite. I really don't.
I can't even say My Big Fat Greek Wedding is underrated because like that was a fun episode.
That was fun. Like,
even though it was kind of dumb, like it was
like that was the point though. It was like, what if we did a franchise revisit that was like just so stupid, and like the third one's in theaters. I think my favorite episode of the year has to be episode 100. Just because it was such a feat. Like, it was a party. It was a celebration.
Yeah.
We got really deep into that. I really enjoyed our Fortnite episode, even though it was stupid. Like, I thought that was really fun. I really liked, this was recent, reading the Christmas script was some of the most fun I've ever had on the podcast.
So I will say that episode has done well enough that we are going to do more.
We're going to greenlight a sequel.
So
we will be greenlighting a sequel to Reading the Worst Christmas Script Ever.
More is coming in that department.
We'll see where it goes. Also, this one might be a little more indie. Revisiting Indiana Jones. That was a banger episode.
I see what you did there.
That was a banger. Like, we talked about like going to Walmart and how shady, like in that, like that was still the best thumbnail, the best YouTube thumbnail you've ever made is still for that episode.
I agree. So wholeheartedly.
Good word. This was a really good year. It's hard to choose. I really liked childhood video games with Colin. That was fun. Yeah. Super Mario Bros. Review with Genre Geeks is good. Downfall of Disney was a banger.
Dude,
we need to do a sequel to that
iconic.
One. We need to do a sequel to that one because it's only gotten worse.
Only gotten worse.
The original Sword Art Online Jackson's Anime Adventure was so good. Movies and shows that impacted us was really genuine. I mean, I don't have a least favorite. Like, we really did.
I don't think we put out a bad episode this year.
Ah, man. Oof. Good job, us. We
Thanks.
killed it.
Good job, team. We're really
Wow.
killing it this year.
This far in, what do we have? What do the people have to look forward to next year?
Well, plenty more episodes. We are going
Plenty more
to
episodes.
try to double down on some of the episodes that did really good this year. So, like, movies that impacted us, fixing our favorite movies. Obviously, like, reading old writing. We have a lot more episodes like that planned for next year. It's just a matter of where do they go on the schedule. Obviously, we're going to keep doing anime adventures. We're going to try to squeeze in some franchise revisits. We do have something pretty significant planned. Whether or not it actually happens will be a different story because we have to get to May. But we do have something pretty exciting planned for you
It's gonna
Star
be
Wars
lit.
fans
It's gonna be lit.
for May. Outside of that, I'm gonna announce this with a very big asterisk because we still have a lot of work
Big
to do.
asterisk. Yeah.
And it may not come to fruition the same, like the way we're thinking of it, but it's something we've wanted to do for a few years now, and we kind of just decided to bite the bullet and start doing it. And we are going to hopefully be doing our own awards show.
Yes.
What it's going to be called, I'm not entirely sure yet. But we are going to do, like, movie of the year, game of the year, show of the year, animated film of the year. Like, just a way for us to... Because, like, nobody likes the Oscars. The Oscars suck.
Right.
But, like, we can sit here and complain about the Oscars all day. We need to do something about it. So we're
Right.
going to do that.
Because,
and
these Film Bro movies, they're good, but we want to talk about the Ladybug movie.
Right. Like Ladybug
and
should
so
have a
let's-
chance to win animated film of the year.
Let's throw that in, and it'll also be a people's vote. So
Yeah.
we'd love to get your opinion in on it. We're figuring out how to do that. It's going to be quite a show, and
Yep.
we're very excited
And
about
that's
it.
going to... If everything goes according to plan, it'll be its own episode. So, like, we'll open
Yes.
up the voting in one episode and say, hey, go vote, and we'll, like, promote it for a few episodes, and then there will be, like, a cutoff date so that we can get everything and tally it up. And I'd love to, like, bring on guests to announce winners and stuff and, like, really just make it a production and then turn it into, like, a yearly thing that we do.
Yeah.
And that would be its own episode. So
Yeah.
that's the plan. We are going to work our darndest to make it happen because it's something we've wanted to do for a few years. And it, like, every time it comes around time to do, like, stuff like that, we're like, oh, well, we'll do it next year. And then it comes around and we haven't done it. So
We're like, oh, awesome.
there's also...
Also big stuff. Oh, were we about to say the same thing?
Go ahead. We might be saying the same thing.
I was going to say, one, the Instagram is going to be revitalized. We've been kind of quiet on there, and it will be coming back because we've got big plans for it. Also,
I'm going to do the same with Twitter. I'm going to try to bring the Twitter
Twitter's
back.
going to come back. New merch designs are coming very soon. Maybe more. Who's to say?
Maybe more.
We'll let you
Also,
know.
The merch is going to get updated.
Merch will be updated.
The logo is going to get updated next year.
Ooh. Nothing
Not
drastic.
anything crazy. Like it's essentially
It's
the
the
same
same
logo.
logo.
We're just updating it for season 6.
Mhm. We're
So-
cleaning it up.
And that'll roll
So-
out with season 6 in January.
Right.
Do I
So-
dare put a hard date on when we're coming back? Because I can pull it up on the calendar. I mean, it's going to be a
essentially-
Monday.
Essentially, this is the date we're saying with caution.
With an asterisk.
With an asterisk. And so just follow on Instagram at the Nerdiest Podcast and on
You'll
Twitter
know.
at Nerdiest Pod and subscribe on YouTube at the Nerdiest Podcast to know when we're actually coming back. We'll probably stick to it. We will see.
We are out of here for 2023, but we will be back
Guys,
on January 15th, 2024,
let's
hopefully,
go.
with our usual what we're hyped for in 2024,
Yes.
which I didn't think
Hype.
I had a lot, but then I started putting the list together, and there's actually a decent amount to
I'm
be
hyped.
excited for next year.
I'm
so
hyped. It's going to be great.
It's going to be
Guys,
lit.
we'll see you in January for season 6 of the Nerdiest podcast.
You know what
6.
happens? You know what we're going to have to do in 2025? We got to do our movie.
We got to make a movie. We got to do
6 seasons in a movie.
6 seasons in a movie. That's all we got to do. Guys, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Not just today on this super long episode, but also just this entire year. You've made it so much. You've made it what it is. And without people like you to listen to the show, it wouldn't be what it is. So thank you so much for your continued support. We want to get you as involved as possible next year. We've got some great plans to do that. And if you really like it, make sure you join the Patreon. Thank you so much to any of our Patreon or Spotify subscribers out there that have supported us this year. Thank you from the bottom of our heart. You keep the lights on, and we can't wait to keep doing amazing stuff next year. We really, really appreciate your support. Now, I'm very sad to have to go, but we will see you in 2024. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Follow on Instagram at The Nerdiest Podcast, Twitter at Nerdiest Pod, and YouTube at The Nerdiest Podcast to see updates on all the stuff. We're going to miss you, and we will see you very, very soon. But until then, we'll see you next year. Bye.